Anderson got it to Besser in front, backhander scores! The puck back in. Campoli trying to clear it. Burrow just pressed. Got the puck loose to Edmonds. Back in for Alex Burrow. Gets up in the air. Now McKinnon to the side. No! With the left glove! Are you kidding me? What a save!
Hey, Canucks Nation, Brandon Alston here, play-by-play for the Edmonton Canucks. You've got it locked in the line here, the Vancouver Canucks podcast.
What's up, Canucks Nation? Welcome to the post-game show. Vancouver Canucks lose by a score of 5-2 to the Seattle Kraken. They, of course, dropped 3 out of 4 games to the Kraken, and not much to really say right off the bat with this game, but let's go ahead and just jump into the goals and take a look at that. As I mentioned, Canucks lose by a final score of 5-2. They were able to get a late one with, last minute of the game was Marco Rossi, who continues his point streak, which I will get to. But let's go ahead and jump into the goals right off the bat. Of course, first period, you had Jared McCann. You could say a bit of a Canuck killer. And speaking of Canuck killer, McCann scores his 17th, assisted by Brandon Montour, and Jordan Eberle, the real Canuck killer, his 23rd assist of the season at 4:12 of the first period, which made it 1-0 for Seattle. And then Evander Kane would score his 12th of the season, assisted by Drew O'Connor and Zeev Buium at 11:42 to tie the game up. And of course, one of the newest members of the Seattle Kraken, Bobby McMann, would score his 20th of the season on the power play at 19:10 of the first period, assisted by Tolvanen and Shane Wright. This, of course, made it 2-1 Seattle, and it would be 2-1 Seattle going into the second period. And then, speaking of the second period, Jamie Alexiak would score his 4th of the season, assisted by Beniers and Montour at 5:06 of the second period. That, of course, made it 3-1 for Seattle. And then moving to the third period, Bobby McMann would score his 2nd of the game and his 21st of the season at 4:14 to make it 4-1 Seattle, assisted by, once again, the Canuck killer, Jordan Eberle and Matty Beniers. Speaking of Matty Beniers, he would score his 18th of the season, once again, assisted by the Canuck killer, Jordan Eberle and Bobby McMann at 9:58. That made it 5-1 for Seattle. And then, of course, as I mentioned, with about 20 seconds left in the game, Marco Rossi would score his 8th of the season unassisted, or you could say, I believe it was Alexiak actually passed it to Rossi. So passed it to the wrong player, and Rossi is able to put it into the empty net. So that was your final score, 5-2 for Seattle. A bit of a lackluster game from the Canucks, at least from what I saw. Granted, I did miss, I believe it was the first period and a good majority of the second, but I did manage to catch the third. Let's take a look at the game stats. We have the Canucks outshooting the Kraken 34-33. Face-off percentage, they were a 62%, 31 out of 50. And then the Kraken were a 38% at 19 for 50. Canucks 0 for 2 on the power play. And then the Kraken were a 33.3% on the power play as they went 1 for 3. Hits 24-20 in favor of the Canucks. Block shots 16-9 in favor of the Canucks. 22 giveaways for the Canucks, 9 giveaways for the Kraken, and then 4 takeaways apiece for both teams. Let's take a look at the player stats for this one. We had Brock Besser, a +1 with 17 minutes and 19 seconds of ice time, 3 shots on goal. Drew O'Connor was a -1, even though he did have an assist in this game, 17 minutes and 58 seconds of ice time with 6 shots on net. So O'Connor was really firing the puck. Elias Pettersson, pointless, 18 minutes and 7 seconds of ice time with 3 shots on goal, 1 block, 1 hit. Then you had Curtis Douglas, who was a -1 and had a ice time of 10 minutes and 1 second, so about 10 minutes with 1 shot and 5 hits. Teddy Bluger was a -3, 15 minutes and 26 seconds of ice time with 2 blocks. Atu Ratu, 12 minutes and 26 seconds of ice time with 1 shot and 4 hits. Max Sasson, 9 minutes and 24 seconds with 1 block. Jake DeBrusk, a -2, 13 minutes and 12 seconds of ice time with 2 shots and 1 block. Evander Kane with a goal, 18 minutes and 31 seconds of ice time, 4 shots on goal, 1 block and 1 hit. Liam Ogren, 15 minutes and 32 seconds of ice time with 1 shot, 1 block and 2 hits. Marco Rossi with the goal. He was a +1, 16 minutes and 23 seconds of ice time with 2 shots and 1 hit. Linus Carlson, a -1, 13 minutes and 32 seconds of ice time with 1 shot and 1 hit. Looking at the defense, Tom Verlander was a -2, 19 minutes and 52 seconds of ice time with 1 shot, 2 blocks. And then you had Philip Hronik, 24 minutes and 16 seconds of ice time, 4 shots on goal, 2 hits. Zeev Buium with an assist, but he also was a -1 in this game. 22 minutes and 59 seconds of ice time, 3 shots, 2 blocks. DPD only played 9 minutes and 5 seconds in this game, 1 shot, 3 blocks, 3 hits. I do believe he actually left after the second period. He did not come out for the third. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall seeing him in the third period at all. Let me know in the comments if he actually did return. Victor Mancini, 17 minutes and 16 seconds of ice time. So an increase in ice time for Mancini, probably because of the DPD injury. I completely skipped over Marcus Pettersson, was -1, 24 minutes and 14 seconds of ice time with 1 shot, 1 block, and 3 hits. Nikita Tolopilo, 28 saves on 33 shots, 4 goals against. Save percentage was .848. Of course, not a great night for Tolopilo. Surprisingly, getting the back-to-back start. I'll admit I was not expecting that, but at the same time, I was, of course, happy for it because, I'm a big Tolopilo guy. Not his best game here tonight, of course. 5 goals against, but, you win some, you lose some. You're not going to expect a guy like Tolopilo to steal you games or win every single game. Moving on to the shots on goal per period, you had Vancouver outshoot the Kraken 15-10 in the first period. Shots were even at 11 apiece in the second period, and then the Kraken outshot the Canucks 12-8 in the third period. Of course, as we mentioned, final shots were 34-33 in favor of the Canucks. Now, just a couple notes that I had that I wanted to go over. I mentioned Marco Rossi earlier. He looked good tonight. Continues his point streak, as I mentioned, with that late goal. I did notice some defensive breakdowns on a couple of the Kraken goals, in particular the Beniers goal. There was nobody covering him. Also looked like a bad line change, no pun intended, on that goal as well. When Tolopilo shot the puck around the net, looked like there was nobody around. It looked like the Canucks may have been doing a line change at the point. So there was that. I did want to talk a little bit about the after hours segment with Trevor Linden. I absolutely loved it. I watched almost the entire thing. Speaking of Trevor Linden, I also want to shout out Russell from Nothing is Perfect for his interview with Trevor Linden in his second intermission. Absolutely great stuff, man. Loved it. Especially loved the shout out to our good friend Shannon. And of course, I want to shout out Shannon myself and say, I hope you're getting better. We're all thinking of you, and we know you can pull through this. So a big shout out to Shannon, of course, for that. But let's dive into the comments here real quick. See all who's here. Duolingo, of course, always in the house. Best post-game show in the biz. Thank you, Duo. Love it here. Love hearing that from you, bud. Post-game show hype. I made it to one finally intentionally. Rain, Big Brain Rain is in the house. I believe this is G. So G is in the house. Rain, this is Grubauer's first season since he joined Seattle back in 21-22, where his save percentage is over 900. He's in year 5 of 6 of his contract since he signed. Ironic given that he's the backup now. Yeah, when I noticed that Grubauer was playing tonight, I thought for sure the Canucks would at least get some more goals in. I know the cord is very good. So the fact that Grubauer was in net, I was a little surprised that Canucks did not put the puck past him a little bit more than they did. But, it is the Canucks we are talking about. Good and apathetic, just the way I like it. Lefty is in the house. Good to see you, Lefty. Are you talking to me or somebody in the chat? Let me know. Irvin's in the house. I'm just here so I won't get fined. Funny. That's actually a pretty good one. But yeah, I believe I haven't heard from Gerald today, so I'm not sure if he was actually at the game. He may have been. So Lefty says, yeah, talking to you. It's probably Line Change Van in Russell's chat. So it's the same as the channel name, Line Change Van, in the chat. I did pop into the chat watching the interview, and I did leave a comment for Russell saying that I absolutely loved the interview and I thought it was great. Irvin says, Kane scoring is usually a signal that it's going to be a shitty night. Honestly, I thought he almost had 2 goals on the night where he rang it off the post/crossbar. Honestly, I thought, probably like a lot of people, I thought that was in. It kind of reminded me of that time that Pettersson like ripped it into the net and they didn't realize that it was a goal at first. And they actually had to look back, go back and look and be like, yep, that's a goal. So I thought that actually went in, and then they saw. So yeah, obviously it ended up not going in, but I will give Kane his flowers. That was quite the shot, and unfortunately it ended up not being a goal, despite almost the entire arena thinking that it was a goal. Whoop. Yeah. Call me out to never sing told me he's not an NHL goalie at this point. Oh, that wouldn't have been me, but yeah, not Tolapilo's best night tonight. Obviously letting in the 5 goals. It's also not often that, he plays back-to-back games. Like I said already, I thought that was that surprised me that he was put back in the net for back-to-back games. I thought for sure that they were going to throw Lankinen in and do the 50-50 split. So that did kind of catch me off guard, but I'm not going to be unhappy about it because I'm a big Tolopilo guy. But yeah, I mentioned earlier about him handling the puck. That was definitely a little bit on Tolopilo too. He just kind of rang it around the boards. But as I mentioned, it looked like the Canucks were in the middle of a line change. So because there was nobody back, it was just Tolopilo. And yeah, that obviously led to the Beniers goal. But also I noticed that, the pass literally went right between Marcus Pettersson's legs to Beniers, and Beniers is able to, pop it in. So once again, Marcus Pettersson doing what he's been doing all season. Also, as I mentioned, Beniers was wide open. So, and I keep hammering down on this. You just can't keep letting guys be wide open, like in front of the net. You just can't. I believe that Beniers should have been Mancini's player that he should have been, on. And Mancini was way closer towards the net. He was way off. And yeah, that was one of the goals that I was not happy with, leaving him, leaving a guy like Beniers wide open. You just can't do that. He's a backup for a last place team with our number 1 injured, and the reason he's in the NHL right now. That is of course, very fair point. Very, very fair point for sure. And it's like what Irvin says, it is what it is, but we're also a 32nd place team. So we've been kind of going through this all season pretty much. Yeah, Rain saying, I didn't actually catch this goal, but I'm glad you mentioned this, Rain. Even the Alexiak goal, he was wide open right down Main Street. So again, like I mentioned, some defensive breakdowns. Obviously, this Canucks defense is very young, especially with the departure of, Tyler Myers. It's very young, and they are, making mistakes. They're going to make mistakes, and just it seems like, after I was kind of obviously hoping for a bit of a better game from the Canucks, especially after the game the other night against the Predators. They looked great. They came out buzzing, had one of their best periods in the first period in that game. They actually were able to, mount the comeback and win the game. And then a couple nights later, Seattle comes to town and you have a game like this. So I could definitely see the differences. Obviously, with me not watching the first period, I didn't see how they played in the first period, but just, glancing at the score and the fact that it was 3-1 after 2 periods. And then, and then Seattle scoring 2 more goals. It was more of what we've been seeing most of the season. So just kind of have to chalk it up to another, Canucks gonna Canuck in this one. Obviously, our next game is Tuesday against actually, who are they facing again? Tuesday. Can't remember. The Panthers. So the Panthers coming into town, and then I believe it's the Lightning afterwards. So yeah, all in all, not that great of a game for the Canucks. Pretty disappointed with the outcome. But as I mentioned earlier, at least, we're seeing Marco Rossi, get another goal. He obviously had the 3 points against Nashville. He seems to be starting to look a lot better. I didn't really notice the Bro line as much in this game as I did in the last game. I know Ogren had that kind of breakaway towards the end of the game that ended up leading to the Rossi goal. He isn't, but watch his left leg posture. Okay, I'll definitely keep an eye on that next time Tolupilo plays. Definitely. I'll definitely keep an eye out for that for sure. But obviously, I expect Lankinen to probably get the start against Florida on Tuesday. So we'll see how that goes. Actually, how have the Panthers been doing as of late? Florida Panthers. Okay, so the Panthers are actually third in their division with 69 points. Is it actually going to show me their actual record? Or no, they're not third in their division. They're second last. Excuse me. So they're 5-5 in their last 10. Panthers have won 3 straight. So we'll see how the Panthers are. Obviously, they're still missing Barkov. The Orb line. Orb, bro. So yeah, Panthers are second to last in their division. Actually, you know what? Let me bring up the standings here. We'll take a look at the NHL standings. Let me just close some tabs. Bring up any standings. There we go. Show me the actual website. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let me swap over here. Don't need that. There we go. Share screen. Boom. Okay, let's see if this works. This looks better. No. There we go. All right, so NHL standings. Let me actually increase this. 100%. Is that better? Here. Let me actually make this a little bit bigger. No, actually, no, I can't. Crud. Anyway, let's bring this up. Okay, so we got in the East, in the Atlantic. Speaking of the Atlantic, Buffalo Sabres are first in the Atlantic with 88 points, 41, 20, and 6. They are 9-1 in their last 10. So obviously surprising to see Buffalo, although we all know Buffalo went on that bit of a heater. Tampa Bay Lightning with 84 points in second, 40 and 28 in 65 games. Montreal Canadiens are 2 points behind the Lightning with 82, 36, 19, and 10. You got the Carolina Hurricanes leading the Metropolitan with 90 points. They got a good, nice, about 11-point cushion on the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are second with 81 points, 33 and 18 and 15. Wow, 15 overtime losses for the Penguins. Yikes. They are actually tied with the Islanders, who are 38, 24, and 5 with 81 points. The Islanders have actually been pretty hot lately, 7, 3, and 0 in their last 10. Penguins 4, 3, and 3, and of course the Hurricanes are 7, 3, and 0 as well. Lightning have not been playing very well as of late. They are actually 3 and 7 in their last 10. So, but moving on to the wild card, you have the Boston Bruins tied with the Red Wings at 80 points each. The Bruins 37, 23, and 6. The Red Wings 36, 23, and 8. The Bruins 5, 3, and 2 in their last 10. 3, 5, and 2 are the Red Wings. And you have the Blue Jackets, who are a point behind the Red Wings out of the second wildcard spot, 34, 21, and 11. Blue Jackets are 5, 1, and 4 in their last 10. Then you have the Senators with 75 points, Flyers with 74, tied with the Capitals. And then you have the Panthers with 69, as we mentioned, 68 points for the Devils, 68 points for the Leafs, and 64 points for the Rangers in the East. Moving on to the Western Conference, of course, Colorado Avalanche leading the way with 97 points, 44, 12, and 9. The Avalanche are 7 and 3 in their last 10, while the Dallas Stars with 94 points, 42, 14, and 10, 9, 0, and 1 in their last 10, and they've won 4 in a row. And then you've got the Minnesota Wild with 88 points, 38, 17, and 12. They are 5, 3, and 2 in their last 10. That is in the Central. And then, of course, the Pacific, you have the Golden Knights with 76 points leading the way, 31, 22, and 14, 4, 6, and 0 in their last 10. The Ducks are right on their heels with 75 points, 36, 27, and 3. The Ducks are, of course, 6 and 4 in their last 10. The Oilers are in third with 73 points, so 2 points behind the Ducks, 32, 26, and 9. The Oilers are 4, 5, and 1 in their last 10, although the Ducks have lost their last 2 as well. The Utah Mammoth have the first wildcard spot with 74 points, 34, 27, and 6. The Mammoth are 4, 4, and 2 in their last 10. The Sharks are 5, 3, and 2 in their last 10 and have 70 points. So they're 4 points back of the Utah Mammoth. So they have managed to claw their way back into a playoff spot after they had kind of drifted out. So 32, 26, and 6. The same Seattle Kraken team that just beat us are 1 point behind them with 69 points, 30, 26, and 9. And of course, they're 4, 6, and 0 in their last 10. I believe prior to this game, they had actually lost 4 in a row. LA Kings tied with them for 69 points, 27, 24, and 15. The Kings are 4, 5, and 1 in their last 10. And you have the Predators with 67 points, 29, 27, and 9, and they are 3, 4, and 3 in their last 10. The Jets are behind them with 64 points, 27, 28, and 10. They are 5, 3, and 2 in their last 10. Excuse me. And then you have the St. Louis Blues tied with the Jets with 64 points, 27, 29, and 10. They are 7, 2, and 1 in their last 10 games and have won 2 in a row. The Blackhawks with 61 points, 25, 30, and 11, 3, 5, and 2 in their last 10. And then you have the Flames with 59 points, 26, 33, and 7, 3, 6, and 1 in their last 10. And then, of course, you have us, the Canucks, still at 48 points, 20 wins, 38 losses, and 8 overtime losses. And they're 2, 6, and 2 in their last 10. So we're still, and then looking at the wins, we're still like 6 wins back of, the Flames, 7 wins back of the Blues, 9 wins back from the Predators, 10 wins back from the Kraken, over 10 between the Sharks and the Mammoth. So still at 48 points. Yeesh. Man. Yeah, and actually, I want to bring this up. Who would have guessed Vegas would have more regulation losses than the Canucks since the Anderson trade? They have 11 regulation losses since they got him. There's 7, 11, 3 since the trade. Yeah. And I believe it was recently actually that the Ducks were actually in first in the Pacific last I checked. Obviously, that changed after, what was it? Maybe the other night or whatnot. Well, I mean, Vegas has won their last 2, while the Ducks have dropped their last 2. So that explains it, obviously. But yeah, definitely, obviously, like I said already, surprising to see the Sabres all the way up the top. Then again, at the same time, they've been hot. 9 and 1 in their last 10. They have 1 loss in the last 10 games. Obviously, that winning streak came to an end recently with their streak. But to see Buffalo, not gonna lie, I kind of like it. Believe it or not, seeing Buffalo doing well, considering how long they've been in, how bad they've been over the years. Not that I'm saying I'm a Buffalo fan or anything, but just to see them, the way they did their rebuild and whatnot. So hopefully it can be a blueprint for us. Hopefully not as long as Gerald briefly popped in. Like I said, hopefully our rebuild isn't nearly as long as the Sabres one, but hopefully we kind of model their blueprint a little bit minus the length of the rebuild. So yeah, there's that. I believe G's gonna.
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I contemplated on coming or not. I saw some of the people in chat, so I thought I might as well just drop by. Yeah, it wasn't a very good game. It was terrible. The bro line you were just talking about earlier, they slotted in Curtis Douglas instead of Ogren at some point. I think it was in the third. So that's why it seemed like they weren't on as much, but it was because Curtis Douglas got in. Going back to your ice times, yeah, he got to play a good almost 10 minutes, which good on him, because he also had another chance. He got a shot on goal. Yeah, I mean, overall, the game was just, after the second, it was just done. It was just, I don't know what to say. I mean, the effort was so, but there's just too many defensive deficiencies. There were and Tolopilo on that, I think it was the second or third goal, I can't remember. He had it, and then he basically had it under his pad and just skated it in. And that was okay, great. So it's one of those nights. Once that happens, it was just yeah. And then at 4-1, there was a Canucks power play. PD was pulled down. It was kind of weak. Basically, PD felt the stick and then just collapsed and got a penalty, which is
PD fucking sold that. PD sold that for sure. I saw that and I was like, PD fucking sold that. It made me chuckle. It made me chuckle.
Like it's just, I mean, okay, great. You're getting a power play, then make something out of it. It just like for half, like they couldn't get in the zone for the first minute. I think they finally got in maybe like 110 into the penalty with 110 left and couldn't really get it set up. Maybe had like a shot and that was it. So yeah, like the defense, like even Marcus Pettersson tonight, there were some questionable passes like from behind the net. Trying to thread a pass like across in front of the goal, and Seattle almost capitalized, but they Tolopilo was on it. It just, yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like you have one good game and then another bad game. Like the road trip, I think, was the start of something, and it was great. The effort was definitely there. Lankinen was playing lights out. Yeah, and then they come home and it's kind of the same again. Like the game that Irvin and I went to, it was just the effort wasn't as big as the road games. And then they come in and pull off this like down 3-2 or down 3-1 and come back and tie it and win against Nashville. Like where are these performances? Like it's just they're so consistently inconsistent that it bothers me a little bit. Like if there is effort game in, game out, and they lose, fine. It's a game. But when the effort isn't there, well, okay, I'll give it to them. They outshot Seattle tonight. I think the count shot, I can't remember the last time I saw it, I think it was like 34-33.
Yeah, that was the final shots.
Yeah, so 34-33, and there's just some misreads. Tolopilo wasn't as sharp. Didn't expect him to let in 5 goals, which is this is your boy, man. What the hell's going on with him? Like 5 goals, but it is back-to-back game. Well, not back-to-back game, but back-to-back starts.
Yeah, I was about to say I was a little surprised by that when they announced that they were going to run with the same lineup. Tolopilo was going to get the start again. I was like, oh, is Foot like watching us our post games where I'm like ripping into him, be like, start Tolopilo more. I was a little taken back by that, but obviously with them, pulling out the same lineup they did against Nashville, obviously that meant Höglander sits again. So I wasn't too thrilled about that. I mean, I'm not
liking this Höglander sitting. I'm really not liking this benching.
Yeah, nothing against Douglas. I think he should get like a look, but you could have sat Douglas for one game and had Höglander in there.
Well, no, because the thing is, I think they brought him in. There's no way, like he's waiver. He's not waiver exempt. He has to go through waivers if they want him to go to Abbey, right? And at this point of the season, anyone can claim waivers. So yeah, it's unless there's going to be an injury. I think Hogs is sitting out there for a while, or if someone else doesn't play very well. Because it's unfortunate. Like I would like to see Höglander in the lineup so we can play with Petey. And Kane is going to be in there for a while because they're trying to reach his 1000th game. He's at 993. So there's at least another 7 games of Kane before they actually bench him. I mean, good effort today. Like he got that opening goal, that breakaway, finally got something. And then
Almost
that
had two
shot on
goals. Yeah, almost had
yeah,
two
and then
goals.
that shot on the penalty that PD drew, that I initially thought, wow, that was quick. Like,
Yeah,
and who was the goalie? I can't remember.
Grubauer.
For Grubauer, yeah.
Mhm.
That was on him. That was totally on him. Like his glove
Oh yeah,
wasn't even anywhere close to saving that. So his post bailed his ass out.
oh yeah. He's lucky that didn't bounce off of him and dribble like into the net because it bounced kind of off his back and then went in between his pads. But
Yeah.
he's lucky that didn't just bounce off his back and go in. Or if one of the Canucks were able to see it before it went to his pads, I could have just quickly, tucked it in.
Because
I
at
think it was
that point,
Doc,
I believe. Yeah, I don't know. But at that point, it was still 4-1. It would have been 4-2.
Mhm.
So, a game could have been. Yeah, it's just there were a lot of block shots, and even though they got 34 through, one goal. So, Grubauer, it wasn't necessarily all Grubauer. It was just the shot selection wasn't great, and the guys in front of Grubauer was playing well. Like they were blocking
Mhm.
shots. And even like I think a Willander shot hit. Can't remember who it was. It was a Seattle player, and he wasn't even trying to block the shot. So that kind of explains to you like what kind of shots they're taking today. It's just whatever here. I'm just going to take a shot for the sake of taking a shot. It's not even like clear. Like it's not even open. There's like no chance. And another thing that I really noticed was PD doesn't really like PD has shot the puck, but especially on power plays, yeah, you kind of see that he's pretending to shoot the puck, but all he's doing is looking for those passes, like those slap passes where either it's for deflection or yeah, it's still the same old PD. And he wasn't I didn't like I only I was in and out of watching the game because it was just so boring, right? But the every few times that I saw PD, it just like he wasn't playing a very good game. Like giveaways, like even the defensive aspect of the game that he's pretty much improved dramatically. Like it wasn't. It like yeah, it's goddamn Saturday night, man. Like this is you're on hockey night in Canada. Play that fucking game, please. Like if you're not getting the offense, at least play some defense. Like like Russell says it right here. Damn, the Canucks suck.
Yeah.
What's going on, Russ?
Yeah. Speaking of Russ,
by the way, but good interview with Lyndon.
Yeah, if he's down, I want to try and get Russ in here because I want to pick his brain about that.
Like right now?
Because I watched that. Yeah, I watched that interview. I fucking loved it. I thought that shout out for Shannon was very heartfelt. I love that part. That was great. And I'm kind of like Clay. I'm kind of jealous that you got to talk to freaking Trevor Linden, man. Very, very jealous. So yeah, I'm gonna send Russell the link. He said he's down, so let me get Russell in here and we can talk about the game, we can talk about the interview, and yeah.
Hey, what did you guys think of the trade yesterday? So Bloom was traded away for I can't even remember what that guy's name is. Did you know there was a Canucks trade yesterday, Tyler? Tyler? Oh, Mr. Tyler.
Yeah, so it was like a minor trade the other day.
Yeah.
I noticed it was Josh Bloom going the other way, and then us getting Jaden Grube.
Yeah, Jaden Grube. It's a little unfortunate because I always thought that Canucks were very high on Bloom, and Bloom's only 22, and it's very rare to get a power forward like that. But I looked at some of the, like, after the trade, I went in and did a bit of a search on him, and yeah, they were saying that it was his hockey IQ. That was the issue. Haven't looked into Jaden Grube, but I think also in the early 20s. And with Bloom, it just like, I hope this doesn't bite us in the ass, because looking at his reels, like, of his plays and all that, like, he's a pretty good player. And it's like, we need power forwards like that. And I think if we look back at, say, Bertuzzi, when he came in and all of a sudden that became the West Coast Express, Bertuzzi took a while before he actually got it going. So I think, yeah, power forwards are probably a bit more like late bloomers as opposed to, say, defensemen or just your typical, forward. So yeah, I don't know about this trade at all, and I feel like they gave up too early. But the trade tree continues because this was the Jason Dickinson trade, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
let's
in the house.
What's
ask
up, Doodle?
Russ that. Hey, what's up, Doodle? Let's ask Russ about that before we talk about Linden.
Let's get this beautiful man in here. Hopefully I don't freeze again.
What's going on, brother? Oh.
Is it working? What is going on here?
Can you hear me? Hello? Testing? 1, 2, 3.
There we go. Tyler, I think you're freezing because
there we go.
Looks fine.
And we're back. How's it going, guys?
Kids.
All good?
I am the old man compared to you guys.
Before we go into picking your brain at the whole Linden interview and how that all came about and all that, we were just talking about Josh Bloom and Jaden Grube.
Yeah, it's I don't even know. It's either Grube or Gruby.
Yeah.
Grube or
I think it's
Grube.
What do you think of this minor trade that happened?
I think it's one of those things where
new environment.
Yeah, just a new thing.
Change of scenery kind of thing.
Josh Bloom was tearing it up in the ECHL. Like, he was playing very well. I think he was on like a 10-game point streak down there. And then he also was named as player of the month or something like that down in the ECHL. But the problem is, as soon as he gets to the AHL, I think his decision making is probably too slow. And so he would have moments that he looked really good in the AHL, but a lot of the time he did not look great up playing for the Abby Canucks. So when he was down playing for Kalamazoo, he was fine. But the moment we got him up in Abbotsford, it was just it just wasn't working. So
because it's just a different league and reaction times. Like, is that contributed from his hockey IQ, or is it because of just the
I think it's in parts. It is, yeah. I would say, yeah. For Bloom, it's probably the reaction time. Just like, it's that classic thing where you don't have to think about what you're going to do before you do it, so you can do it more quickly. But for Grube, what I hear and the very little I've heard about him is that he's probably more able to play at the AHL level, which for Abbotsford, who again tonight only had 11 forwards, like, they have not had 12 forwards in the lineup for like a month and a half. Like, they have been running short for like, they have 8 people injured right now. Like, the names you would know, like Mackenzie McEachran's out, Drew Jarkera's been in and out of the lineup. Vilmer Alkson hurt his arm. He's been out, right? They have 8 players out of the lineup right now. And so they're just desperately trying to find anyone. So I think Groob is probably someone who can step into the lineup and play right away, which they desperately need right now.
Yeah, because it was really surprising to
Same with
see
those
that
two
like a minor trade.
NCAA guys too.
Yeah. So they were both the new guys from the college, the free agents they signed were both in the lineup tonight, and they still were not able to have a full 12 forwards in their lineup tonight. So hopefully
How many D were they playing?
They play 7D, so they have been playing with 7D. But what they've been doing a lot lately too is Christian Felton, who is a defenseman, has been playing as a forward. So I can't remember what game it was. They literally had 9 forwards in the lineup, and they had Christian Felton as the only person who was technically playing on the 4th line. And then Chase Waters went out. He got a puck to the face, so he left the game.
Ouch.
So they actually ended up finishing the game with 9 defensemen in the lineup and 8 forwards by the end of the game. So they had more defensemen in the lineup than they had forwards. It's a disaster right now down there, unfortunately.
Curious, how's Ben Berard doing down there? Is he still playing with the Canucks?
Yeah, he's been their best offensive player for pretty much the whole year. He leads the team in scoring, and I don't know. You guys saw his shootout goal at the All-Star game,
The All-Star,
right? Wasn't that insane?
Dude,
that was insane.
If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even know that we had a player like that in Abbey.
Yeah, and he's 26, so he's already getting older. He probably does not have a good chance of making the NHL. But you never know, right? Maybe by the end of this year they do get a call up or something like that. But I mean, and what do they have? I think they have 3 or 4 call ups from the AHL, so they're probably going to save that because right now, depending on what happens with Elias Pettersson, the defenseman, if he can't play next game, they're going to have to call someone up because P.O. Joseph's still hurt. So the Canucks literally only have 5 healthy defensemen in the lineup right now for the Vancouver Canucks. So this is probably a situation where if EP25 can't go on Tuesday against Florida, they'll probably call up Kudryavtsev, I would say.
Kudryavtsev?
Yeah, because Kudratsev's back in the lineup. He's been back for the last couple games, back from injury. But there's a number of guys you could see them calling up. They've got a plethora of left-handed defensemen down there right now. So maybe even Minio gets a look because Minio's been looking really good down there too. Why not give him? I think he got a couple games at the end of last year too, so might be a good chance to give him a look as well. But I mean, at this point, if you're talking about an EP25 injury that's going to be a couple weeks, you might see the Canucks actually call up 2 defensemen from Abbotsford because if P.O. Joseph and EP25 can't go, you might have to call 2 people up, have the backup as well. So you could see Minio and Kudryavtsev come up, which would just further decimate the Abbotsford roster that's been, running at 75% for pretty much the whole season here.
Do you see shit, sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought.
I do see I've got 2 eyes. They work pretty good, but I got to wear glasses when I drive at night.
Do you know roughly how long POJ is out for? Did they say anything?
I think I just saw Foot say he's skating now, so that's a good sign. But I guess what you know how it is with Foot when they ask about his damn for injuries.
He's skating. That means he's probably out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So who knows? He said, I think Foot's exact quote or close to exact. Essentially, what he said was, "It's something that could recover from, but he will not put a timeline on it." So yes, he could literally be out the rest of the year. Who knows?
Classic Foot.
Yep.
Yeah, since we're talking about Foot, your views on keeping him next year? What's your thoughts?
I just hope not. The fact that
I know this is gonna piss you off. I knew this was gonna piss you off, but I really wanted to ask you.
Hoglander being out of the lineup in favor of Kane is insane, right? Like when you have the line, and right now they're wasting Carlson now too. Like I just the lineup, like the only line that has been working is the Bro line, which is the Besser, Rossi, Ogren line. And so, but then you now have Hoglander out of the lineup. And when Hoglander was playing with Petey, they were like a 60% goals for percentage or whatever the heck the analytics is, which is like 10 no, the Vancouver Canucks on average is at like 43% goals for percentage. And when Hoglander was playing with Pettersson and Carlson, their line was 60%. So they were a full 17% better than the rest of the team. And for some reason that gets Hoglander put in the press box, which at the end of the day, I think it's just because they want to get Kane his 1,000 games because he's buddies with Aquilini. He's buddies with Kash Patel. So they're going to keep him in the lineup no matter what they do.
So six more games, I think. Kane's at 993 right
yeah,
now.
And then just sit him and then just get the young guys in. Or sit DeBrusk again because he was absolutely invisible again tonight. And also, I was watching earlier, you're talking about like Petey not shooting the puck, but I mean, he's been setting up DeBrusk. The other night, he set him up for a beautiful pass in the slot. Brush shoots 4 feet wide. Perfect slap pass down to him on the side of the net. He chips it wide of the net. Like DeBrusk has no finish. Even on the power play, he can't finish anymore. So like, just sit DeBrusk again.
He's most likely out the door by, if not the draft, by the offseason.
Yeah, I was just watching Rev
like.
Trev before I came here, and I said to Rev Trev, let's trade our mini pick and DeBrusk to someone to try and move up higher in the draft. Maybe we could. And then when I was thinking about it, I think Boston has 2 first-round picks.
Toronto. They have the Toronto
they got one
pick,
of Toronto's picks, right?
And
So
then
maybe we can trade DeBrusk, our first, and maybe one of our seconds coming up, and move up and try and get up to a high enough place where we can maybe look at drafting Malhotra. Because if you can get into a position where you're drafting Malhotra, that would be sick, right?
Yeah, I think I got Tyler into Malhotra. He, like, when I first talked to him on the stream one time, I was like, "Hey, look at this kid." Like, he wasn't even in top 10 at that point, and I was like, "Dude, like, if we can get this kid in the low, like, if he doesn't improve, we can get him at the lower. We could probably get him at the mini pick." Yeah, that's before we even got the mini pick though. But it's gonna be tough because he's playing himself up past, like, within top 10 right now, and it's gonna be very hard for the Canucks to get him.
He literally might go as high as top 5, right?
Yeah, and it's no, because as a centerman, you don't have someone like over 6 who's right shot and actually has some wheels. Like, I was watching some of his clips and I was just like blown away. And that's why I told Tyler, I was like, dude, look at this kid. But the only issue is Malhotra, like his dad. So what is it going to be like? Like, you know, he'll come in, he'll probably play for Abby, so he plays for his dad. Is there going to be a conflict of interest or any sort of issues there, you think?
Well, I would hope that by the time we get Malhotra, I hope Manny's coaching the Vancouver Canucks, since there is no conflict of interest, right? Like, honestly,
so there's your answer.
This is the thing, and we'll go back to the Abbey Canucks because like I said, they have 8 guys out of the lineup, and they didn't play, like, they got blown out tonight. But the Abbey Canucks are in every single game. Their systems are great. Manny Malhotra's attention to detail is incredible. Was it Canucks Conversation at Lapierre on the other day? I'm sure you guys watched it. And he was just singing the praises of Manny Malhotra's detailed oriented, you know. So for me, it's like, man, just like get Manny up here before what ruins all these young guys. Because, and even like we'll use tonight as an example. I think Connor Gale is in chat right now. He's like, Marcus Pettersson is trash, right? He chased Eberle into the back of the net. Eberle put the puck out front, and Matty Beniers scores a goal, right?
Yeah.
But that's because that's Adam Foote's system. And yeah, Marcus Pettersson has not been playing as well as he did last year under Tocchet's system. And that might be for a bunch of reasons, but under Tocchet's system, Marcus Pettersson's not chasing Eberle into the back of the net. He's picking up the man in front of the net and preventing him from even getting a shot off. But tonight on that play, I think it's the system. Adam Foote's system is trash.
You think it's the systems?
Yeah, 100%.
So you don't think it's just the players just like losing their assignment?
No, that's the system. This is the system. They're playing man-on-man defense. That's what Adam Foote wants them to do. He wants them chasing people into the corners. And if Marcus Pettersson
Why?
on that exact play, because he thinks he wants to play like, I think he is trying to make them play like the Florida Panthers, who play more of a man-on-man. But I mean, like Tampa Bay, John Cooper, they play zone, and they're very good structured defensively. And look where the Florida Panthers are this year with their man-on-man defense. Now that they've lost some of their pieces, right? So it's just, for me, I think it comes down to system.
It's really unfortunate because like Adam Foote was one of the, like, I really liked Adam Foote as a player when he played for the Avs, but
Yeah.
coaching wise, it just doesn't seem like it's working. It's kind of like you're great players, but it doesn't necessarily translate to you being a great coach. Look at Gretzky when he was with the
100%.
Coyotes, kind of thing, right? So
He was terrible as a coach.
yeah. So I mean, as a GM for Team Canada, he was okay, but as a coach, he wasn't that great.
Yeah,
And it feels like it's time. Yeah.
Well, I think the funny thing I always bring it back to, and everyone's had that manager who got promoted because they were really good at their job to be a manager, and then they're a shite manager because they don't know how to manage. There's a difference between being able to do a job and being able to tell somebody how to do a job. They're completely different skill sets. So then you have people like Foote and Gretzky who are like, I don't understand why you guys can't read this play and do this thing that I used to do. And it's like, well, because they're not as good as you were at the thing. And so now you're not able to describe to them how that should be done. So it's just like, I don't know. Adam Foote, great defensive defenseman, but also he has changed the defensive system from what Rick Tocchet was coaching. And under Tocchet, the Canucks were a very good defensive team. The Canucks are dead last. They're 32nd in the whole league when it comes to goals against. Like, it's not even close. They're what are they, like a minus 80 something now in this? Like, and they're literally giving up more than a goal plus per game against in this league, right? Like, this is like a terrible defensive system. And I think it comes down to the systems because Manny Malhotra's team lost, tonight, but they're not in the last like 2 months. They're playing 500 hockey. They're winning 3 games in a row. They're losing 3 games in a row. They're winning 3 games in a row. They're losing 3 games in a row. It's been crazy. But if you were to remove the first part of the season when the Abbey Canucks were decimated by the fact that everyone got called up to the Vancouver Canucks, and on top of that had their own injuries, if you were to take out that first 21 game segment, the Abbey Canucks would be contending for a playoff spot right now. And they have been decimated even worse than the Vancouver Canucks are. That tells you the difference between Manny Malhotra's system and Adam Foote's system.
So one last thing before we go for the whole Trevor Linden. So do you think it was a wrong decision to bring up, to keep Foote as opposed to move Manny up? Because the issue would be who would take Manny's spot in Abbey, because with what happened with injuries and all of that, I don't think anyone else would have been able to deal with that.
Honestly,
and they'd probably be in a worse
so hard
position
to say what's going on in all these boardroom meetings because, like, me and Dustin for a while there, we were fully convinced that Rutherford hired Foote to keep Aquilini into having this team tank. Like, he is. I did a breakdown on my stream of Adam Foote's tenure with the Kelowna Rockets. He didn't coach a single full season as a head coach in the WHL. He never made it through. He was hired as a replacement in the first season he coached in the WHL. He coached 54 games. The numbers went brutally down. They went from being a team that scored like 3.2 goals per game to a team that scored like 2.2. And then their defense went from only allowing 2 to allowing like 3. Like, all the metrics went reverse in all the worst ways possible. The next season starts. They start again. Same thing. Terrible numbers. And then 54 games into the next season, they're literally hosting the Memorial Cup, and they still fired him, even though they were hosting. That's how bad he was. And the moment he got fired, and this is the year where COVID kicked in, so we didn't get as much numbers as I wanted to pull, but the moment he got fired, their goals for went up by almost a full goal, and their goals against went down by like a half a goal per game. Like, the moment you got a different coach in there, they didn't change any of the players. They just changed the coach, and bam, the team was like exponentially better. And then obviously the Memorial Cup didn't even happen that year because that was when COVID all kicked in and all that. But like I said, Adam Foote never coached an entire season as a head coach, even in the WHL. So when me and Dustin look at those numbers, I honestly, part of me believes that Rutherford was like, oh, on a couple levels, Adam Foote being hired will make us appear that we're trying to appease Hughes, because Hughes is like, Adam Foote's my favorite coach that I've ever had. And so publicly, that would make sense. If we're trying to keep Hughes, then we would hire his favorite coach. So then when they already know that Quinn Hughes is about to leave the team because he didn't want to be here, and they knew that way before they hired Coach Foote as head coach, then when Hughes leaves, then they have a scapegoat, right? We did everything we could to appease you, Hughes, and you still chose to leave us. So I think there's a lot of what Rutherford does is very puppet mastery, and I have no way to prove this, but by watching like all the Canucks content that you could possibly get and watching every single game and looking at Adam Foote as a player and all the different moves that this management team makes, it tells me, part of me believes that the only way that they were able to tank so hard this year was because of Foote, and that was part of the plan, because Aquilini was never, ever going to accept a year this bad.
So you're thinking, you and Dusty are thinking that this whole tank was, premeditated. It was something that they wanted to do. It was something that it was the plan the whole time.
As soon as the thing went down with JT Miller and EP40, I think it kind of started with Zadorov and Lindholm, because I think they thought they could convince Zadorov and Lindholm to both stay here. And then when they realized they couldn't convince Zadorov and Lindholm to stay here, and then the JT and EP40 thing blew up even more, I think Rutherford was like, this situation has gone to hell. And you've seen him say it in a few interviews where he's like, the moment we started losing those players like that, the core that we had was no longer the same. And then add on top of that, the fact that Thatcher Demko, his injury happened right before the 23-24 run. And without Thatcher Demko, this team isn't the same either. So suddenly Rutherford's looking at it and it's like, there is no way we can be competitive. So what can I do to push this team over the precipice and right to the bottom of the standings? And that is hiring Adam Foote, who is, by the numbers, one of the worst coaches, full stop, right? Like, not even just like worst, like he's one of the worst head coaches in any level of hockey that I think I've ever seen. It's crazy.
So if that's the case, then what was the point in extending?
And we had Torts. Yeah.
What was the point of extending Garland, Besser, and Demko? If that's the case, what was the point of Demko?
Well, I think part of it is, I think that's all part of the same puppet master part. And I mean, I'm still wearing my tinfoil hat with all this, but when you're signing all of Quinn Hughes' buddies, you're essentially doing literally every single conceivable thing that you could have done. Like, I even go back as far as like slapping the C on his chest to say, when they put the C on his chest, I think part of that was them trying to convince him to stay. And I think the last 2 years, I think they had a real good sense that he was not going to be signing with this team. And I think slapping the C on his chest, signing all of his best buddies to long-term contracts, I think they literally did everything they possibly could to keep him here. And then it just didn't work. So, yeah, it sounds a little crazy, but I don't know. I just can't get over that. I honestly think that Rutherford is playing like 4D chess.
Because that's like, if that's the case, why the hell did they not just trade him in the offseason? Like, if you traded Quinn Hughes in the offseason, and it just would have been better. Like, the return might have been better.
But the thing is, I think Rutherford knew Quinn wanted to leave before Quinn actually said it to the team. Quinn never came out to them until they were in season to say, yeah, no, I'm done with this. So I think it was on Quinn Hughes I think Rutherford was doing his thing where he was reading the room, and he had a good understanding that Quinn Hughes wouldn't resign. And so then once Quinn Hughes was actually like, okay, we're losing, and then the beginning of the season happened, that's when I think Quinn Hughes went to them and said, okay, I'm officially telling you I will not be re-signing with you. And at that point, then they made the trade. And that trade happened quick. And I mean, if you look back at the games where Quinn Hughes really gave up on this team, when he became Quinn Hughes, where he was slacking off and lazy on the back checks and not trying as hard, it was like
Slamming a stick on the net.
Yeah, like he was like what was it, like
JT.
2 weeks after that, he was gone, right? So that I think that was when he was like, screw this, I'm out of here. This is nonsense. We're never going to win here. Get me out of here. And then I think that's when the trade went down.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Like
Yeah,
it just feels like Vancouver was never good enough for Quinn Hughes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even like the other day, me and Dusty were talking about it because the comments from Foot where he said that we're getting leadership in this room that we haven't seen in years. And that for me was almost a dig at Quinn Hughes as a captain because he clearly didn't have control of this room. And then Dusty, my co-host, he actually was at the Canucks golf tournament, and he was hanging out with the players.
Milford?
Yeah, he didn't actually say the name of it, but is that the one they do at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, the
Usually?
Milford.
Yeah, so he was hanging out with them, and that was right around where the kind of the rumors about JT Miller and all that kind of having troubles. But what he said essentially is you had Demko, Besser, and a bunch of the boys and Horvat. So Horvat was still on the team. So we're going pretty far back. But like those boys were all hanging out, having a good time. And JT Miller was nowhere to be found, right? Like he was just like pissed off, hanging out all on his own, right? Sort of thing. So but
wasn't that during the time that his mother-in-law was going through cancer?
Yeah. And I mean, you feel so bad for him, right? Because that's when the bubble happened too, right? So you feel terrible for JT Miller on that side of things. But at the same time, like it was clear to Dustin that JT Miller didn't really want to be here either at that point. And it's hard to say, but then they end up choosing JT Miller over Bo Horvat, even though he's the captain. And I think that's where this core really started to fracture. As soon as they traded Horvat in favor of, and obviously signing JT Miller before they even traded Horvat, like Horvat had never asked to get out of this place. But the moment they, signed JT Miller to his long-term extension, then it was like clear the painting was on the wall for Bo Horvat, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's where it really started to fall apart. But then there's also rumors out there that essentially they signed JT Miller under Aquilini's direction because Aquilini assumed that JT Miller was a better piece to win over Bo Horvat.
Yeah, definitely trust the owner who's just a fanboy.
Yeah, but he owns the team, right? So, and I think even if you look at the 23-24 run, I think that was Rutherford saying, listen, I'm going to do whatever you want, bro. I'm going to do whatever you want. We're going to go out. We're going to trade our first round pick, Bruce Navich. We're going to trade other picks to get, pieces in. So they brought in Lindholm. They brought in Zadorov. They went on their magical run. Demko got hurt. Everything went to hell. Arthur Shilov's almost won the series anyways. And then, after that, things fell apart because JT Miller and EP40 couldn't get along. And there was just further fractures in this core and everyone hated each other and the room was bad. And then, years later, Foot's like, yeah, we haven't had leadership this good in years. So I think that kind of is an indictment on everyone who was considered to be a leader in this room for the last 2 years, at least 3 years, maybe.
It would have been funny if they picked JT Miller to keep and then sent off Petey. And the dynamics of this whole team would be so much different. I think Quinn Hughes might still be on the team at that point. And I don't think JT would have spiraled into something like what he's doing right now. Like at least it's not just uninspired hockey, and it's like he talks the talk, but he can't walk the walk. And he's like, oh, no BS this year. And it's just the whole season's full of BS.
Yeah, the Rangers have been the only team that is close to how bad the Canucks are at home are the Rangers. I think the Rangers have like 8 home wins, and the Canucks have 7 now or something like that, right?
And they've also been shut out 3 times.
Yeah, at home, but they've also been shut out on the road. I
Yeah,
think they've been
7.
shut out like 7 times or something in the season, if you include their road games too. Yeah.
I wanted to highlight this because Urban.
That would have been.
Woo!
Well, the funny thing is, even if
Yeah,
you look at that
Urban, he's
Petey
actually
situation, Petey was like, I don't want to talk about my contract. I don't want to talk about my contract. I don't want to talk about my contract. Oh, look at it. Swervin Urban here to talk about Petey's contract.
What's up, guys? Had to get in.
We got the full headspace hockey team here.
Appreciate that. You should get Doodle in here too. Just make it a free for all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking about the JT stuff, and we had a pretty rising discussion with Rain on our last episode of Headspace about that.
Yeah.
Just all the red flags, and yeah, I we're not mind readers, but you definitely have to think empathically about what these situations would, what kind of emotions they would conjure, and with JT, like I don't even think they were ever thinking for 3 or 4 years in the future that he would become the 1C. If you remember, he was traded and he was brought on to be Horvat's wing. Ferlin was the top line winger with Pettersson and Besser. At least that's what they wanted. And then he was a wing with Horvat. And then Ferlin got hurt. And then they found out Miller has all his chemistry with Pettersson. And then that was it from
Ironic.
there. Right? And then fast forward to the Bruce Aridas year, Miller goes off. He becomes like almost 100-point guy. And like, wow, this guy's it. And if you remember, in the midst of that year, he was trade bait. Everyone was thinking like, the offers are going to be astronomical for this guy. If we could just trade for him, we could get so much back. And I remember that draft that summer, there was a trade announced, and I was like, oh, this is it. He's going to the Islanders. And it ended up being Romanov from Montreal to the Islanders. And that was what we were talking about with Rain on our show is that it was 10 weeks from that day to his extension. And how did it go from we're definitely going to trade Miller to 7 more years? And to Russ's point, there's probably people in the organization who definitely wanted to trade Miller. And there was probably Aquilini who said, no, we got to keep Miller. Just like when they extended Pettersson, there was people who are fighting against that extension.
And that trade offer apparently for, what was it? Kotkaniemi, who else was it with Carolina? Nashis?
And a pick.
It was a first round pick too. And if they sent Petey, like, I'm sorry, Russ, I know you're a huge Petey advocate, but like if they traded him at that point, I think things would have been a lot different. Like the trajectory of the whole team would be different, but we wouldn't be in tank mode right now.
And
well, I think 2 things I'll point out is Demko, I don't think would have been healthy either way. And he's a huge part of why this team was so good that year. And then 2, JT Miller has been trash in New York. And I don't know if that would have been any different had he stayed with this team either. And that was always one of the big discussions was you choose Petey, who's younger, over JT Miller, who's already, 30 years old, or do you choose the younger guy, right? So I don't know. I think we probably would have been in almost nearly as bad of a disaster as we are right now. I don't know if there was any good solution between the two of them. I honestly think we were screwed either way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ever since Horvat. Like if they kept Horvat, I think everything would be different. Like Petey,
I think that's where the first string comes.
Yeah, that was
and the exodus of leadership in 2020 was immense. You're talking about Markstrom, who's really good friends with Pettersson, Tanev, who was the best partner for Hughes, Toffoli, who was he was in Tanner Pearson's wedding, and then Troy Setcher, who's friends with.
They're best friends from LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
we had a good team, man, back
Yep.
then. Like, it was such a good team. Like, even with Tanner Pearson at that point in his career and Toffoli sort of reigniting his career, we had Bo, JT, like that team, like that COVID team. Oh man, that
Well,
was.
but that's the thing is it's on record from a lot of people who were around the team. The Tanev Toffoli fiasco of not re-signing those guys was a direct result of Aquilini saying, "Do not sign anyone. We do not have money to sign anyone."
Yeah.
That is
Well,
the direct result of interference from the ownership.
who knows?
Right?
Who knows what would have happened
in
without
the book,
COVID?
never boring. Right?
Oh damn!
So that's where the first like string was pulled.
Holy
Oh,
shit!
doodle hockey in the house.
Holy
No.
shit!
Got a five-way
It's my,
going on.
it's my
here.
first time on screen with Jacob.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
But this guy, I love this guy. We used to phone in to Rob Fay Nation Radio when Team 1040 was around. He's hilarious.
I'm okay.
Me
I'm
too.
not
I
that
used
funny.
to do it too. I was Fortnite Russ. You guys remember Fortnite
Or,
Russ?
is that right?
Fortnite Rust.
You know what's funny? I used to call like Sportsnet 650 now. It used to be TSN 1040. Well, there was other ones, but on Sportsnet 650, last year, I swear to God, I think I called like 80 times. So much so that me and the producer were just chit chatting for like 10 minutes off radio, just like random stuff about the Canucks. Is pretty funny.
And that's why you're like, screw it, I'll just make my own channel.
No, well, I just love hockey talking, man. Like, look at this. It's like 12 o'clock at midnight. We have 5 random content creators in here, all talking Canucks after a loss.
Was it Justin, the producer at the time?
Oh, I'm not sure. But you know what? A lot of those guys, a lot of those old like Sportsnet and even like TSN guys, like I talked a lot with like Rick
Greg
Ball
Adams
and all them and all those guys. Those guys were great, man. Like I remember winning BC Lions tickets on Rick Ball was hosting with someone. I forgot who it was.
Oh
but-
my God, Rick Ball. Dude, I
Yeah.
loved listening to that guy before he went to Calgary.
Because he does play-by-play for the Jets now, I think, the Winnipeg Jets, doesn't he? Or is he
Yes.
still doing that?
I think so. Yeah, nice to have everybody.
He was
in
down
here.
the depth chart
What are we-
beneath
what are we talking
Ashford
about
and shit.
still?
Well, the thing we all want to know, the reason why we got Russell on air is because we all want to pick his brain about his big interview.
How did you get that going? Like,
Yeah.
did you just reach out to him, or you have a contact?
No, I have no contact. It was totally random.
Mom ties.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Mafia ties.
Mafia ties. Yeah, me and Trevor Lynn are both in the same mafia, so it just works out.
Or is it because you met him at Brandy's? Because I met him at Brandy's once. Brandy's is apparently closing off after 25 years.
What's Brandy's?
I met
We're all
Shut
married
up,
guys. We don't
Urban.
know what Brandy's is.
Bro, what is that?
I met Trevor Linden after they lost to Minnesota in the playoffs, and they were just like bummed. Like they're like, fuck this. So all the guys were at Brandy's, and we got there because we were bummed too, and we're like, what the fuck? That's Trevor Linden. And we're just like, holy shit. Of
What year
all
is that?
places, Brandy.
What year is this?
Oh God, 2000. It was in the playoffs and they lost to Mini.
Okay, so he might not have been married at the time.
Oh no, he
'Cause
was.
his son is only 8 years old.
His son was born in 2017.
Yeah, Roman Linden, the tribal chief.
Mateus, Roman Mateus, right?
Yeah, named after
it was
Matthias
before
Owens.
that. It was before that. It was like the something, the whatever playoffs. I can go find out.
Mini was 03.
Yeah, so 03.
Yeah.
So Russ,
Yeah,
how'd
so it
go?
was the 03 playoffs.
It went really good. He's great. I think the thing is I was so nervous going into it because obviously I've been a fan since I was a literal child, right? Like my first memory of Trevor Linden, like meeting him was when I think I was like 12 or 13, went to a Canucks game, found out he was injured so he wouldn't be playing, but me and my friend who I was with were waiting by the entrance where the players come out to the bench, and we were there super early, and then we see him walk by down the hallway, and I was like, Trevor Linden! Trevor Linden! And he comes out and talks to us, right? Just two random kids, has a quick chat with us. Like, when are you coming back, Trevor? Right? Like, so like that's, you know, I was like 12 or whatever. That was back, I think probably even before he got traded. That was like the Messier era. And then, so I was nervous as hell. I wrote the questions over the last couple of weeks and I just didn't want to screw anything up. I had like backups on backups for the recording because I've had, even when like I interviewed Eddie Lack, my recording didn't work. So I had to re-record all of my questions and make it look like I was interviewing Eddie Lack. So I was like, I cannot do this crap again. So I made sure everything was set. And then the moment he came on the Zoom call, it was just like, he just put me right at ease. It was just like me and some dude just having a chat, right? So like, as soon as I was chatting with him, he just made me feel very comfortable. And he was just like a super nice guy. So it was just, it was just so cool to pick his brain. And he's just so well-spoken. Like he's been doing interviews for so long. All of his stories were great. He added little things in that I didn't even think about. Like, but it was just fun to like have him, like he swore a couple times, which I absolutely loved. He said ass and damn and shit on my stream.
He said shit.
Yeah, he said shit. It was
He
great.
just came off as just a dude.
Yeah, he's just a dude, right?
He's a regular ass dude.
So
that's what I got from the interview.
Yeah, but it's just like all of his, even his stories, like you can just tell, like he's just a guy who loves talking about hockey. So you ask him a question, and you can just see him go back to like he's just back in the day, like enjoying talking about these memories he has of playing for the Canucks, and you know, one of my favorite stories he said was when his welcome to the NHL moment was against the LA Kings, one of his rookie season. Wayne Gretzky's, you know, having a heated conversation with the referees. And so he's like, oh, I'm going to go over and see what they're talking about. And then Wayne Gretzky looks at him and be like, who the hell are you? And why are you here? Get out of here, kid. And then Trevor's like, all right.
And you know those weren't the words Wayne Gretzky used.
Exactly. So
I don't know if you ever seen a clip of Wayne. He's around at a table and they're drinking and they're talking about like getting the puck. And he cusses like a sailor. He's like,
yeah. So no, super like, and that's the thing. Just every single answer he had was great. So it was just.
I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out probably tomorrow when I have some chance. But man,
I've posted the video now, so it is available as like a separate video, so easier to watch for you guys.
Actually, I'll see if I can spread it around too. I'll tell a few people about it too. So
it's funny because I posted it on Twitter tonight. Crazy P. He's followed me on Twitter now, and he liked the video. So we got Crazy P.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Have you guys ever heard the story of it's Trevor Linden in his draft year, and they wanted to interview him, the Canucks, and he told like Brian Burke or Pat Quinn that he couldn't do it that day because he had to do farm work for his dad.
Yeah, he was wrestling steers.
That's the kind of players we need.
Yeah, Brian Burke was like, yeah, you don't have to come to the preseason whatever workout thing. You're out there wrestling with deers. Have fun trying to brand a bunch of cattle back out there, right? So, and that's why I actually asked him that because you guys probably saw it too, was there was that clip going around about the Buffalo Sabres line brawl where Gino Ojic ran over Dominic Hasek and then what's his face? One of the Buffalo Sabres tries to run over Sean Burke.
Right.
No, it wasn't. It was Matthew Schneider or
Barnaby.
Barnaby. Matthew Barnaby runs over Sean Burke, and then Rob Ray grabs Linden, pulls him out of the pile, and they were grappling for a minute and a half. I timed it, and so I was like, what was more brutal, grappling with Rob Ray for a minute and a half or wrestling cattle? And he's like, it's Rob Ray all day long because Rob Ray's trying to kick my ass the whole time, and the steers they're just trying to get away, right? So he's like, I would rather wrestle a fucking full cow than I would wrestling Rob Ray. So that was funny too, right?
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. You know, the NHL draft is coming up here. It's pretty like this is like probably the most like exciting draft Canucks wise in God knows how long. You know, Verhoff is actually falling off a little bit here in the last month. And I was so clear cut that he was going to be my number 3 guy if we missed out on the Stenberg and McKenna. But now, man, like I've been watching a lot of Reed. I've been watching a lot of Malhotra. I'm starting to slowly turn here a little bit. Malhotra is an interesting player because Lawrence, in my opinion, has, I would say, a little bit higher upside when it comes to like pure number 1 potential. But he has I think Malhotra as like a, you know who Malhotra reminds me of? It reminds me of Nazem Kadri. Like, to be honest, the way he kind of plays, like he's going to be a good second line. You know, maybe on a first line center on a bad-ish team, but a good second line center for a while. And I've been watching some clips. I've been trying to watch some games, and with Verhoff struggling on top of it, it makes me think, man, like, is it so much a reach now going with a guy like Malhotra or not? And also, it does make me think that this is really, and I don't know if this is a shot or anything, but this is a 1-2 draft, and then it's the rest of the guys kinda, and especially between the 3 and 10 to 12 range. It really is. What do you guys think about all that, and who are you guys excited to watch, and all that lovely stuff? I'm just curious.
So the one thing I've heard about Verhoff is his numbers have fallen off, but a couple of people I watch have said that while his numbers are not quite there as they have been, the process has still been there. So even though he's not getting the results that he wants, it's not necessarily that he hasn't been playing well, but the puck just hasn't been going in for him. But having said that, numbers are numbers, right? So, but yeah, I think you're definitely right. Like, 1 and 2 are pretty obvious, but then after that, it could be a free-for-all. And it just depends on what these teams are looking for. Some teams will just draft the best player available, whereas some teams will try and go for positional pieces. So, but I mean, I almost would be surprised to see the Canucks reach for a center, right? If they end up in third.
Do you think the Canucks still have the courage, and I say the courage, to trade down in this draft, where if there's ever been a draft to, if like, I'm assuming, you know, if we don't get the first 2 picks, right? If we pick third, like, if there's ever been a time to trade down, I feel like this would be the draft, because if you can get 2 guys in that 15-16 range, or you can get, and even moving up with that Minnesota Wild pick, you package with something else and you move up. Guys, like, I'm telling you, between that 3-4 all the way down, like, I like guys all the way down to like 17, 18, no joke. Like, I think there are a lot of really good, first of all, the wingers are, like, there's some good wingers in this draft. And what always happens, guys, always happens in drafts. Centers go first, right-handed defensemen go, right? And these wingers start to drop. If we can get another pick in that middle round, I'm telling you, man, it would probably be the best thing to happen outside of obviously picking Malhotra or something like that. But I'm just curious what you guys all think.
The idea of that makes me so nervous, Jacob. You're talking about just to think of 3 or higher. We're talking about the highest we've picked in 27 years.
True.
So I hear what you're saying, and you know, these guys know I'm a big proponent of farming as many picks as possible. But when it comes to having a lottery pick, which I would include number 3 as one of them, it just makes me so nervous to do what you're saying.
Yeah, no, it's because we can't look, okay, the future, we don't really obviously know what's going to happen between these players. So you look at this guy and we're talking about, oh, should we really pick him third? Turns out he's the best player in the draft. Like, we've seen this happen so many times in other drafts. I just, you know, the only guy recently I've been kind of really tracking, because I've been just, a lot of my draft buddies, they all say, just watch this Reed guy, watch this Reed. Like, he's a lot better than you might think. And I didn't really focus too much on him. I have recently. He's a pretty dynamic player, man. Like, he's a lot better than I thought. I do wonder if some of these draft lists are going to start having him even as high as number 3 soon here. I don't know.
I imagine that a lot of teams are arranging their draft boards by need, because you hear a lot about Stenberg is over McKenna for a lot of teams. So I imagine that for Reed, he's as high as like number 4 for a lot of teams. Do you guys follow Bill Scouching?
Yeah, Scouching's all right. Nice guy, really nice guy.
He's got a couple of guys on his team.
He likes Preston a lot.
Yeah, and
like a
you
lot.
know, his team's list, there was a bunch of them that had Verhoff at 10. So there's, it seems to be a lot of differing opinions.
Yeah, but that's exactly. And I like Scouching. Actually, I've been following him for maybe 2-3 years probably now. Even maybe longer when he kind of retired. Mini retired there for a bit and he came back. Good guy. A lot of really good information on players. He always has like 1 or 2 guys he always like this is the guy, right? And I think this year it's Preston. He's really, really high on him.
Mathis Preston.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how good he does moving forward. I think the previous year was Lambert. I think he was a huge fan of Lambert. Or maybe a couple.
Brad
years ago.
Lambert.
Yeah, one of the I think it was Lambert. I'm pretty sure it was. But yeah,
But he loves Vasily Podkolzin.
Yeah, the Podkolzin thing is interesting though. Oh, go ahead.
Oh my god. I can't believe you brought up Podkolzin. I was just talking to this other chat group the other. I was just like, why did we trade Podkolzin for Kane? Why? Like it just makes no sense. Like we traded Podkolzin away because like Irvin and I have spoken on this topic a few times. And it was because we had to make room. So we traded away Podkolzin for that 4th round. And then we trade that 4th round back to Edmonton for Kane. Like it makes no sense at all. And it was just to make cap room or a roster spot for potential signings like, God, who are those people that
Sprong, Heinen,
fell
DeBrusque.
off? Sprong? Yeah,
All
Daniel
wingers.
Sprong and like
Let's
fuck,
call
man,
it
seriously.
Let's call it
like
spade a
that's
spade. They traded him because they didn't believe in him. They didn't believe in him, so they traded him for a 4th round draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
And Podkolzin then got on a line with Leon Draisaitl. And I'm not like this isn't a shot at Podkolzin. I think he's played great there.
I have to say though, only 9 of Podkolzin's 29 points come with
Really?
David or yeah. So that's the thing I've heard that one a couple times too. But only 9 of his points have come
it's
from
not.
either McDavid or Draisaitl. So only a
did not
third of
know
his
that.
points are from that.
All right, I stand.
It's
corrected
more about
then, for
his
sure.
work ethic.
He's
Like
always
his
been a
work
hard worker.
ethic.
Yeah.
Hard worker. People have loved him. Like apparently I was reading some reports and you know, everyone in the locker room liked Podkolzin.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more of a management move for some odd reason. They could have, they obviously couldn't have
Okay,
sent
I
him
have a
down to
question for you
AHL.
guys. So Gerald, Doodle, Swerve, and Tyler, what do you think was a bigger factor? Was it Rick Tocchet being his coach, or was it the management team? Do you think that the reason why Podkolzin's gone?
It's weird because
A multitude of
Podkolzin,
factors.
A bit of both.
If you think about Podkolzin, like he is kind of like a Tocchet guy, right? Like he was good in the corner. He's a hardworking guy. He gets size. Like those are the type of guys you would think would flourish. And the funny thing is, it's not like Podkolzin was bad here. Like he was all right. Like he always. There was a story. I forgot if it was Quinn Hughes mentioned it or it was Petey, that he was like one of the first people, you know, like on the ice and one of the last people off the ice, and he was always working on his shot and working those drives and doing all those type of things. And it's just, we obviously, like, it's clear as day we gave up on him, or the Vancouver Canucks, sorry, gave up on him too soon. And you know, I'm actually interested. I love that take from Russ mentioning about the whole Draisaitl things. I didn't know that. I just assumed, you know, he's getting so much more opportunity, which I'm sure he is. But you know, if most of his points are not coming with that line, then it does make me think that maybe he just took a step, or maybe he just needed a change of scenery, or maybe we just gave up on him too soon.
Russell, I would also throw in there that perhaps a factor was that they valued him less being a betting pick. That sometimes happens. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a take.
But the
Which is
other
stupid
thing
because
too
you
that
gotta be
I
objective,
think
guys.
a lot of people forget about is Podkolzin got drafted and was forced to spend 2 years in the KHL because he didn't come straight. His development was fucked.
yeah,
They treated him like shit in Russia because they knew he did not want to play there.
I
And
forgot
that's
about
what
that.
happens to a lot of these Russian prospects. They're under contract to a KHL team. He got absolutely treated like garbage. He got treated the way, it's so funny because he got treated the way in Russia that Adam Foote treats the prospects like Hoglander right now. He was on the 4th line. He was getting no minutes. They wouldn't give him anything. Anytime he got a little bit of extra time to play in Russia, he would play well, and then they would just slap him back down to the 4th line. They were trying to make him look like crap so that we wouldn't even want him over here. And then as soon as he gets out of there, he comes to Canada, and he gets screwed over because he ends up getting injured early in his career. He ends up playing very well down in Abbotsford, but by the time he can get his feet under him, then it was like he's not waiver eligible. Boom, they trade him. Right? He did not have good development.
He was, oh man, he broke his jaw and he still came back and played that season.
Yeah.
That's the kind of player that you want, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
he got his jaw broken, and he still came back that season to play with the, you know, like a full-on cage, and then it was like a full-on like visor mask. Like, what else do you need for management to say, oh, this guy is just tough as nails, character guy, why would you trade him? It's because they couldn't send him back to Abbey. Like, it was just, it's like you would lose him for nothing, so might as well get a fourth. It's kind of like Seelovs. You're going to lose him to waiver wire. That's why you're just going to get a pick. We're going to lose Tolopilo because, you know, we're going to lose him to waivers also at some point if Demko comes back. This is what is happening within that business, that it's part of the business. Like, I'm answering my own question, like, why the hell did they trade Podkolzin? But at the same time, it's just, I don't understand. They could have just made a roster spot somewhere else. They could have given up on someone else that was on the team at that point instead of Podkolzin, is what I'm trying to say.
I have no doubt in my mind Podkolzin's now going to have himself an absolutely brilliant career as a really hard-working, maybe even a top six forward, but at worst a third line winger. And the thing is, his work ethic was always his number one trait. And I always said this before with Pod, if he ever gained a step or even gained a half a step, I think that's going to do wonders for him. Look what happened when Bo Horvat gained a step, when he just gained one step. He had that skating coach, remember? And that next
Adam
season he
Oates?
came out. No, it was the figure skating coach. Do you guys know that story with Horvat? I forgot the name of him, but I think it was a lady. That kind of did. Yeah, I think it was her. But anyways, Horvat gained a step that offseason, or at least half a step, and man, he exploded that year. And you know, with Podkolzin, man, like, I'm watching him, man. He's gained a step. He's gained at least a half a step, if not more. Look at that rush he had recent. Like, look at that rush recently.
You see that breakaway?
Yeah,
the breakaway that he had the game.
Man.
Holy shit!
Sometimes
man.
people develop later, but like, especially guys like who work so hard. It's never fun to give up on those guys. At the time, though, like, I remember, I'm trying to remember what I thought, because I'm like, okay, I understand, like, maybe a change of scenery or thing, but I'm like, this is gonna bite us. Like, I think I'm pretty sure I remember saying something like that. But yeah, that Podkolzin stuff is.
Doodle, you don't understand. I literally was at an Abbey Canucks game when he was playing down there. I was this close to buying his jersey. Like, he was my favorite Canucks prospect, and they trade him away for a 4th round pick, and then traded a 4th round pick for Kane. So, like they were saying earlier, they essentially traded Kane for Podkolzin, right? Like, and there are two different calamities of decisions in giving up on Podkolzin too early, and also trading for Kane, which was a very stupid thing to do,
and helping Edmonton with their cap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I keep on coming back to this. This is another situation where ownership was the problem. The only reason Kane is a member of this team is because Aquilini and Kane are buddies, right? Yeah. Kane is a member of the Canucks because Aquaman is Kane's friend. That's the only reason.
For years.
They're family friends, right? Like, the Aquilini family and the Kane family are both from Vancouver. They're in similar circles. They're both rich people, and they're fans of each other. So here we are. Kane's suddenly a Vancouver.
This offseason was actually pretty fascinating because it was the year of gambles, right? Like, that's what they had. The whole point of this season. I know Russ had actually, I didn't mind your take earlier. I thought it was pretty good on the I guess the conspiracy theory on how this thing. But you know, I think at the end of the day, it's to do everything in their holy power to keep Quinn Hughes in Vancouver, and they wanted to go out and they said, hey, if we get Kane and it hits, and Kane turns into a power forward, that, because I remember an interview with Jim Rutherford talking about, like, he's going to be a huge part of this team, and then you know, they wanted Adam Foote to come in here to stabilize, you know, Quinn Hughes, a big Adam Foote guy, right? Have Adam Foote come in here, right? But the thing that kind of still, and to this day, it doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know if it's just a complete failure or what, but like, they talked about getting a second line center. and they didn't get that second line center. Rutherford said like it would be worse for this team if we didn't get a second line center. So if you're going to go all out and do all these, I guess, supplement moves to get Quinn happy, how could you not find, even regardless, now I'm thankful it didn't turn out that way, because I still think we wouldn't be that good of a hockey team with a decent second line center. I think we're way further than just the second line center away. But you just think about it, man. Like, how can you go into that season thinking all these gambles were going to pay off? Because you would have to have all of them. Like, think about Filipino. Like, they thought he was going to be healthy. And, you know, God bless him, man. Like, I want him to be healthy. I want him to have a amazing long NHL career and for his family and his health and all that stuff. But, like, that was a tough gamble to make. So you have all these gambles the Canucks made, and literally all of them, like Demko staying healthy, right, extending, like every single thing backfired, and that's why we are where Quinn got pissed. He's gone. Now I don't like what he did in the last 2 weeks. Just let's be honest, he quit on us. But I don't know, man. Yeah, Quinn Hughes. Like that last 2 weeks, he wasn't skating as hard. He was turning the puck away. He was defending not his usual style.
Yeah.
Like, it was really weird. Like, I've never seen Quinn Hughes play hockey like that. It was more than just things. So, and I think we traded him at the right time. I know some people maybe wanted to wait a little longer. I think we got a decent enough package for him. And let's be honest, it helped us drop in the standings to where we are as well here. Like, trading him early helped us get a top 3 pick this year and potentially a top 2 pick, which is huge.
Apparently not to Patrick Alvin, because after the Quinn Hughes trade, Canucks went on a 4-game winning streak, and a rebuild became a hybrid retool.
I still hope he just misspoke. I hope he just misspoke. I really, really did. I don't know.
I'm still not convinced they're going to do a full rebuild.
No,
I'm still not convinced. I think they go into this draft, and I think I said this from the Rutherford interview from 100% Hockey, where he said, our goal next year is to make the playoffs. Like, direct quote, right? So do I think they will make the playoffs next year? I highly doubt it.
No.
This team is a dumpster fire. Because there's, I guess, the caveat of his quote saying, our goals to make the playoffs was, I don't know if we can get far enough ahead to do this, but our goal next year should be to make the playoffs. So I think in the management views right now, they are going to do what they can without getting rid of any of our picks or prospects to make the playoffs next year. And when that fails and we end up drafting at like top, maybe, top 12, top 15 again, they're going to use that. And then the next year, I think that's when they think. I think their plan is to not make the playoffs next year, but the year after that. But I mean, that's still not a proper full rebuild for this team.
No, that's spot on. They're not doing a full rebuild.
I had a question for you guys that from earlier, because we were talking about how poor of a coach Foot is. What do you think our ceiling is? Take this roster, move it forward, like let's say minus Kane, give it a different coach. Because I don't even think they would make the playoffs if you put John Cooper on this team. I just think we're so
we drafting
flawed.
Gavin? Are we drafting Stenberg here?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
Are we
I didn't
moving
think about
up
that.
and picking up? I'm just joking, but
Well, it was funny because after I
Probably
finished up with
not.
Trevor, I had him for just a couple minutes after I'd finished. So this is not in the interview, but I didn't get a chance because I wanted to ask him about the Medicine Hat Tigers, where it was his first, he played for Medicine Hat. They won 2 Memorial Cups. I was like, do you still follow what they're doing down there? And one thing that a lot of people don't know about Trevor Linden is he actually got accepted to Princeton. So he could have gone and played in the NCAA all the way back in the day. He chose to stay with the Medicine Hat Tigers.
It's
So then he
his
said-
dream.
Right? It was his
To play
dream.
for
His
the-
favorite player is
19
Lanny McDonald, right? Like, and he lived his dream.
Yeah.
That's the thing I love is he won back-to-back Memorial Cups in his hometown, right? But then
And especially
what
the
he said
first
after-
one when he scored. Especially
he
when
scored 2 goals
to
in
win
the championship game. Like, he's a beast. But then the
and
thing
you
he
see that
said
interview
is,
with him, and you just see that smile on his face, and it's just like,
yeah,
it's like a dream come true for him. Like you,
but-
I don't know, you can't be more happy for a guy like that. Like he grew
But
up
the
in that
thing is-
town, loved that team, idolized it, and
he said so. Gavin McKenna chose to do the opposite. Gavin McKenna went to the NCAA. He took the money and ran. So, I mean, this is an exact quote, but, reading between the lines, Linden was kind of like, well, maybe if McKenna had stayed, and I'm not saying he should have stayed because Linden's a nice guy.
You don't think jumping
but if
to
McKenna
Penn
stays
State
and they have
was
the
a
Ruck
challenge?
Twins and that team that they're doing, right? They went all the way to the Memorial Cup final. Like I think in Linden's mind, they could win the Memorial Cup like multiple years again, right? So then I said to him, maybe we can look at reuniting McKenna and the Ruck Twins on the Canucks. And he's like, I like the sounds of that.
But you don't think
Nice.
jumping to Penn State was a bigger challenge for McKenna? Given there's older
It
players.
is definitely a different situation. You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're 100% right. The state of the NCAA compared to the state of the WHL right now is completely different from the situation that Trevor Linden was back in like whatever it was, 1970s or 80s or whatever it ended up being, right? So it definitely a different situation. But still, you're right. No, McKenna, because of where they're at now with the fact that they have more men playing there, and that's one thing that I've talked a lot about with other people too, is it seems like European players are able to jump into the NHL more easily because they're playing in pro leagues in Europe against men, whereas kids that are coming up through the CHL, the OHL, the WHL, the QMJHL, they're playing against teenagers. Whereas for McKenna, he's been playing against men this whole year. Took him a little to figure it out, but all of a sudden lately he's scoring 5 points a game or whatever the nonsense he's been doing, right? So for his development, probably is better. But I don't know. It was interesting to hear Linden kind of say like, "Hey, it would have been nice to see him stay and see what they could have done." But you're
For
right.
us, to get to your the rebuild point, I guess we're not going to do a full rebuild. I agree 100%. I've been really thinking about how they're going to kind of do this. And my theory is they're going to be trading up a lot in the draft. I think what they want to do is get as many quality players that take less time to potentially be NHL players, and try to make this, regardless if they think it's going to be a 2-year or a 3-year. They want to. I don't truly believe it's a full blown long term rebuild until I just see it. We've been in this pattern for so long,
Don't say
right?
hybrid form.
And so I'm thinking I wouldn't be surprised if we obviously I don't think we're going to trade down. It would be interesting, but I think we're going to make that pick. And then I would be not surprised at all if we move that Minnesota pick. We combine it with a couple, maybe a second or something, 2 seconds.
Jake
DeBrusk. Pick another guy.
DeBrusk.
And then I think next year, I think they'll do it again. And I think what they want to do is I'm not thinking they're going to want quantity. I really think they're going to focus on quality. And I hope if they're going to do it, if they're not like the higher upside players, right? Players that maybe won't take, because you can get really good players. Some players develop longer, right? But obviously the guys who are at a higher, I guess technically based off analytics and scouts upside, they usually break the NHL sooner than the other guys. So I think also NHL ready guys, take a sneak peek in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round at some of the older guys in the draft. I believe the guy McKenzie, right? He was on Canada, at the World Juniors. I think he's going to be like a 3rd, 4th rounder. He's an older guy. I think he's 20 years old. That's an interesting name. I think that's how they're going to be planning this out. And guys like Jake DeBrusk and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure he's going to be gone. And I actually said this earlier. I don't know if you guys agree with me. I'm actually really curious. If a team came up to you right now and said, "We'll take Jake DeBrusk. We'll give you a 3rd round draft pick. That's it." Would you do it?
Yeah. I do it.
Sorry, can you say that again? If it was what?
If an NHL team came up and said to you right now, we'll take the full contract, obviously. We're going to go and trade you a 3rd round draft pick for Jake DeBrusk. That's it. Nothing else. Would you do it?
Take it and run.
My further question to that would be, what would you do with that?
No, because he still has how many years left on that 5.5?
I think it's 5 years, isn't
I
it?
think it's 5 years.
Yeah.
Maybe?
So he has
After
like
this season's
3 more years, or how many more years?
Let's take a look. He's
Yes, what Justin
he has
said.
5 more
If the
years
pick
at
is for this
5.5.
year, yes. If it's a third for this year, I would say yes.
Russ, what do you think? I know you're struggling on this.
I think I probably wouldn't do it for anything less than a second.
But for
But
this year,
that's, I mean, you're still essentially trading a player that's supposed to be a 20 to 30 goal scorer for a second round pick, right?
Yeah.
Which is a gamble, right? Like it's another gamble.
And I do think
No,
he
but
could
Russ, you'd be
potentially
okay
get
if
a
you-
second. Sorry.
If it was a second, I would take it and run. If it was a second in this year's draft, I'm gone. Bye to Russ.
What about
Have a nice
second in
day.
2028?
2027?
No.
yeah, you're waiting too long.
2028.
Yeah,
Second
no,
rounder.
No,
And what
2028.
Kempner is saying in the chat right now is objectively true, but it would be a move that you're doing to rush if you were to do that. Just be like, I'll whatever, I'll do it. I'll just do it.
No, but would you take, like you were saying, take the mini first round and DeBrusque and trade up to get to, let's say, if Verhoff was there at I don't know, top 10, 11, 12, around that spot, would you trade that mini first round and DeBrusque to get that to get Verhoff?
I don't want them to draft a single defenseman this draft. We do not need a single defenseman at all. We need all forwards right now. We need all forwards and centers. In my opinion.
Because around from 3 to, let's say, 3 to 17, 3 to 16, there's not a lot of forwards. It's very D-men heavy for most of the first round. It's not until like the latter part of the first round, like the projections, latter part of the first round and early second round, like the Ruck twins. One of them is like near like around the 20th pick. That's his projection. And the other one's like the second round. So overall, it'd be like 40th pick, 30-ish pick.
Well, I'm
so would
looking
you
at
trade
it-
down then?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, okay? And I'm just taking a quick sneak peek. So based off the rankings of NHL Tankathon, okay, it's the easiest place to look right now. Number 3, number 4, number 5, those are all defensemen, and Verhoff, Reed, and Smits, right, as they have it, right? Number 7, 11, 12, 15, 17, and 20 are all defensemen ranked right now, and 26. Yeah. So the amount of these pretty crazy. And teams are always drafty. Like, it just always happens in these drafts. Like, and there's going to be a team that's going to reach on a D that's ranked in the 30-plus range, because it usually happens. Same with centers. So you can almost guarantee that Malhotra, Lawrence, Vigo, they're going to be gone. And maybe I guess Hemming would probably be gone in that scenario too. Like, there's a lot of these guys are going to go, and you're going to have wingers available in that Minnesota Wild pick, if we don't move up, that are going to be ranked around 15, 16. Like, it's going to happen. I'm absolutely certain. So we do have to not be careful, but like, I'm so certain, guys. Like, truly, there's going to be a really good winger available at our mini pick. I don't even think it's the Ruck twins, which would be interesting. Would you guys be interested in drafting the Ruck twins? Like, is that something you guys?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay with?
Oh yeah,
100%.
Yep. And I would be as well. I think, especially recently, they've really exploded. They're starting to really find it, and you would have natural chemistry there. And again, if the Vancouver Canucks are thinking about being good sooner than later, well, having two guys that have natural chemistry, if they go out and draft them, would be an interesting choice. But are they big enough for it? Who knows? But
come on, Jacob, could you imagine the Rucks being coached by the Sedins?
Yeah, it would be so awesome, man.
Currently in the WHL, Marcus Ruck has 102 points and Liam Ruck has 99. They are number.
Oh, he broke the 100,
2.
eh?
Yeah, they're both the
wow.
top 2 players in the entire league right now. They played 66 games apiece each, so it's 102 points in 66 games and 99 points in 66 games. Liam Ruck, the goal scorer, actually has less points, which is funny because I think Liam is actually ranked higher in the draft because he's the goal scorer, and he's got 43 goals and 56 assists, whereas Marcus Ruck has 20 goals and 82 assists, and he is.
But Marcus is more of the setup, right?
Yeah, Marcus the setup guy, but he's not, and that's the thing, is he's not just setting up Liam at this point either, because they do have a very good team
Mm.
in Medicine Hat this year. So it's not just, I mean, yeah, they're on fire right now.
So imagine is Marcus a right wing or a left wing? I'm sorry. One's a centerman and one's a
Yeah.
right wing.
Yeah, Marcus is the center,
Is he
and
the
then
left shot or the
Liam
right shot?
is the right winger.
So if the Canucks somehow get first overall, they can slot McKenna with the Twins on like the second line.
And they played
That's the
together
future,
last
right?
year. Like they were both the Ruck Twins were on the team last year. They weren't as dominant.
with McKenna,
They've already
right?
played together.
Bro, that would immediately fix a lot of things. But I think someone was telling me if we get McKenna, he's minimum gonna be second line. Like it wouldn't be like a third line duty to work your way up. Because he probably is better than most of the players on the team right now.
The crazy thing about McKenna is I think he will take a little bit longer to reach that top end potential, but I really am a believer in his top end potential. I truly believe his playmaking ability, his vision, the way he like it's. I know I'm not comparing him and saying he's going to be as good as this player that I'm about to mention, but like it does remind you of guys like Kucherov. It does remind you of guys like Patrick Kane, where he just controls the way the flow works on the ice. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to be as good as those, highly unlikely, but just the way he plays. I really like the way he plays. But the really interesting part about the Canucks is they've wanted a fast transition type hockey team. And if you're thinking fast transition type hockey team, you're thinking more Stenberg than McKenna. So it really does make you think, would they go pick, if they have that number one pick, will they actually pick McKenna? I would be, I don't know if I would use the word surprised if they went with Stenberg first, but I would not be like blown away. Like I think there's a, like, and recently they were saying that they like Stenberg more. I just, if we pass up on McKenna, I don't know what I'll think. Russ, who do you want?
I would take McKenna.
No, wait a second.
McKenna?
Wait a second. Didn't Alvin say he wanted more Canadian
Rutherford.
Oh,
players?
Rutherford.
Or Rutherford.
It was the way the question was posed, right? Like they asked him, "Would you like to have more Canadians on this team?"
He's
And
like, sure.
Rutherford was like, "Yeah, sure. I would love to have more Canadians on this team." It wasn't like we are going to
Correct.
specifically draft Canadians. So it was another one of those quotes from Jim Rutherford that you can take out of context a little bit. Like, we need to be more Canadian because at the end of the day, he's got a bunch of Swedish people working for him and on his team already. So it's not
And he did mention, like, even after that, like immediately after that, but of course we're gonna take,
the best player available.
best player available, and all that stuff. So, I think a lot of people would be like, yeah, it'd be nice to have a Canadian, but at the end of the day, like you pick the best player available. I want to draft an extremely highly skilled, tough team to play against. But I still would pick Gavin McKenna number one. I just feel like he really could be a special player. But I
think the discrepancy between Stenberg and McKenna is I think that McKenna has a higher ceiling and Stenberg has a higher basement.
That's a good pick.
So if you end up drafting Stenberg, he might not reach the heights of McKenna, but you are less likely to have a guy who can fall further because, I mean, one of the knocks, obviously, we saw at the World Juniors with McKenna was he was more of a perimeter player. He wasn't a play driver. He still was a 2-point per game player. And like we've talked about lately, that 8-point game he had against men, right? He has really figured things out at the NCAA level playing against men. Whereas, but Stenberg has been playing over in that pro league, the top pro league. But the thing is with the difference between these two players, again, more recently, Stenberg's production has fallen off quite heavily, right? So you've seen them kind of go in different directions. So I think McKenna has heard the criticisms, and I wouldn't be surprised, right? I think his agent hired someone to come in and talk about his mom with a bunch of slurs just to get him all fired up, right? Like that was it was like it's like a Happy Gilmore sort of thing, right?
And Stenberg seems roughly stacked. No? In Sweden?
The team he's on is stacked.
Yeah. And he's in like fourth on scoring right now, I believe.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because technically, like McKenna's team is actually not one of the better teams. He didn't go and sign with one of the most elite schools. Right?
No, not
like
at all.
Penn State is not
He
close
kind
to
of put
being.
them on the map.
Yeah, right. Like, so that's I think where we're at with that is that after all of that and what we've seen in the last couple months here, I McKenna would be my guy.
And even when McKenna was quote unquote struggling earlier in the season,
He was still a point per
and-
game.
Yeah, and his stats for time with the puck on his stick was like through the roof.
That was still insane.
That's going to be a fun draft. It's going to be a fun draft, man.
But we all know
why
we're
not.
drafting
Even this-
third, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, there's no chance we're winning draft or even coming top 2. It's not happening. We know it. We all know it, right, guys? We're all Canucks fans.
Please,
We've experienced
please.
It all started back in 1970.
Speaking of Linden, do you remember his face after those draft lotteries?
Yeah.
They would just like pan to it right to his face and stick right on it. And it was just,
Oh my God.
It's going to be very, very interesting this year. I'm really excited.
I hope we get first. And this is what I said. And this is, again, going to my like, because there's like me analyzing hockey as like a person who watches the game and like understands where people should be and blah, 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 like analytically. And then there's me, like hockey fan Russ, who's just like wore a specific kind of underwear when I was watching Canucks games back in the day, right? Like thinking it would make a difference. If the Canucks get the first overall draft pick from the guy wearing the proper underwear on Canucks game day, it's going to break the curse. That is going to be the beginning of our ascent to raising Lord Stanley Cup. So if we can get McKenna, we're going to be lifting the cup within 5 years.
5. Wow. 5 years.
5
Oh,
years
love.
cup in Vancouver.
I would love to lift the cup and God, just until I
We
die.
need it, man,
I don't
because-
care, man. I don't care how many years it takes. Just one before I die, it would be nice.
gosh.
Right? I'm a big
You-
guy.
you know
like,
they
I'm
have
probably-
t-shirts
I
for
only
that,
have
right?
20 years in me. I only
Yeah.
have probably 20 years in me, so it would be nice if they do it sooner rather than later.
Have you seen those shirts that say "I just want to see them win the cup once in my life" or before I die? They have a T-shirt. That guy's a genius.
I do believe we're gonna win a cup one day, man. It's really hot take. In the 500 years, I think we'll eventually fluke one.
Well, this is the thing too, is if I watch all of the interviews with Rutherford, right? So like, you got to listen to his words and even, I mean, talking about his comments on Foot, like they asked him, what do you think about Foot so far? And he's like, he's had a lot of challenges this year. That was all he said. He didn't say anything beyond that, right?
Do you guys think Foot's coming back?
Well,
Is
with
there any
comments like
chance-
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what Russell just said, he said.
Yeah, Kepner's got
Okay.
it.
Let's put it a percentage. What percent do you think Foot is coming back versus not?
0%.
0%?
I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening.
I would go
we're too
80-20.
bad. We're too bad.
80, 20, 80% he comes
80
back, 20
80
he doesn't.
he doesn't come back, 20%. Yeah.
Do you know the only way he stays?
No.
If Aquaman says, I'm not going to pay another coach, I'm already playing. Because is this Talkett's last year is this year, right?
Fine, I'll go
Yeah.
10%. I'll do 10% just to cover my own ass.
This is a situation where if Aquaman wants to, he can fuck us over once again and say, I'm not. But this is the other thing that, as an organization, sometimes I really question a lot of things. Like the disaster that has been roster management between Vancouver and Abbotsford, just when it comes to goaltending. Like we had a goddamn e-bug goalie play actual game time for us in Abbotsford when they were playing in Colorado. We had a real estate agent in the game playing for us because of the terrible roster management when they called up a goalie when they didn't need to, right? This is the kind of stuff. So what worries me is ideally you turf Adam Foote because he sucks. You bring up Manny Malhotra, so he is here from the start of training camp to be. But what it worries me, and that where I come from, where for me, I think it's almost 50-50, where I think 50% chance they start the year with Adam Foote as the head coach. He drives this team in the ground like he has been. And then like by Christmas time or New Year, they fire Foote, bring up Manny. But then for me, it's like, if you were going to do that anyways, you might as well have started that, because now you have to find a coach for your Abbotsford team, which is supposed to be your development team. And then you also have Like, but I could also see them being like, I want a tank to begin the season so that Manny can dig us out of this and we'll still end up getting a decent pick, right? So part of me just thinks it's almost like a 50-50 chance that Adam Foote is back.
I just think we're so bad. Like, we are really bad. And we're bad for so long. Like, all season. If we end like 13, 15 points in last place, how can you bring the guy back? Like, I feel like, and this is like, I don't want the guy to lose his job. I never want someone to lose their job and their career and all that stuff. Like, of course not. But like, when you're this bad, it's a performance related thing. I understand if we miss the playoffs by like 3 to 5 points, or you know, the boys are at least working hard, and we knew that we were in a full rebuild this year. But no, we were supposed to win this year, and I know we had a ton of injuries, and there was a lot of gambles, and he got put in a tough position, especially early on in the season with all the injuries and not having proper amount of centers and all that. But like, come on, like, look at the systems we've been running this year. Like, I don't want to, like, I'm not going to hate on the guy, but like, come on, like, we're awful this year, and I think there's going to be consequences, and maybe there might even be more than just him. But I guess we're gonna see. It's going to be a fascinating offseason one way or another, because I don't know how they can, unless they can say, hey, you know, we're going to bring him back because this year had all the injuries, and you know, we're in a rebuild, and you know, whatever. And, like, I don't know. That is a possibility. So I guess I'll change my answer to 10%, but I just 10%. I just don't see it personally.
Okay.
Like,
okay, let's be real. So everyone, we're all talking about a rebuild. You're all not believing this rebuild. If we keep Adam Foote to start the next season, doesn't that answer a question that this is the continuation of the rebuild? Because like Russ said, this is like the worst guy to have coaching a team when he got fired from the WHL. Like, who else are you going to find to get that bump? And you know what? You'll get a coach bump and you'll start winning games. It's going to affect the lottery. It's going to affect your positioning and all that.
Here it is, boys.
And why not just keep him?
This is the determining factor. If Adam Foote is the head coach of this team come September, we are in a full rebuild. If Adam Foote is not, then they are rushing it. And we are looking to be a competitive team within 2 to 3 years, like Jim Rutherford said.
No, please don't. Please don't.
Don't bring in Sam Halam. Oh, my God.
You know what kind of drives me nuts? And it's happened for years and years, and it still happens. I don't feel like we should ever even be like mentioning we want to make the playoffs. It's about winning the Stanley Cup. The goal should always be, I'm not saying we're going to win the Stanley Cup, but the goal should always be to win the Stanley Cup. So when they do these interviews, I don't know why they don't just be like, you know what, our ultimate goal is to win the Stanley Cup. And obviously we're going to need to make the playoffs to win the Stanley Cup, but we want to win it. Emphasize it's about winning the cup, and the future rebuild is about winning the cup. And if it takes 2-3 years, it's about winning the cup. That's what they should be pushing. When I hear them pushing, you know, make the playoffs, you want to be good to make the playoffs, like, that just tells me like where the headspace potentially is at, and I don't like it very much. I would much prefer like, because even you hear, like, even with Buffalo Sabres, who haven't made the playoffs in God knows how long, what is it, like 16 years? A lot of their guys are still saying, hey, it's about winning the Stanley Cup. We're not satisfied just making the playoffs, right? And they were saying that even last year when they were not great, you know? So, I don't know. That's just my take.
That's why I hate the just get in and anything will happen crowd.
No, I don't like that crowd, no.
You know.
I'm not a big fan of that.
But if you think about it, I'm going to play devil's advocate. If you're the Dallas Stars, you've had a cup contender for how many years now? And how many cups do they have?
Yeah. But then you look at the Washington Capitals, who are banging at that door over and over and over and over and over. And what happened? Eventually they broke that door down. And the funny thing is that with Dallas is, I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas or maybe even Carolina. I know Carolina won a cup before, but I mean, like recent memory, I wouldn't be surprised if either of those teams won the cup this year. I think they're pretty much due, but Colorado is, man, that's a tough team.
And if you're Dallas making the conference finals all these years, at least you could say, to quote Adam Foote, you're just right there.
True.
Like literally, they were just right there.
They're right there, just right there. Like how many games? They lost a lot of overtime games against the Oilers too, I believe. Like, I'm trying to remember now. But like they had shots to win some of those games and flip those series around, but it just didn't work out. Mm-hmm. That's the way it goes sometimes, man. Sometimes bounces too, man. big thing. It happens.
No, but if you look at the Central right now, you have the Avs, obviously top dog. Then you have Minnesota, and you have Dallas. Who is going to make it out of that? It's just I still don't like how everything's positioned right now, because back in the day, if it's 1-8, we had a conversation with Nick,
The bracket format.
Windy City Hockey, and it used to be 1-8. It wasn't, your division leaders 1 to 3, and then the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys like this system, or do you think it's time to go back and change it to 1-8, or even potentially like something like the NBA? Like you do play-in round, positions 7 through 10. You have your one game that you play in, and then whoever makes it, plays another game and then makes it into 7 and 8.
If they had a play around,
because right now the Central just ruins it, because you have these powerhouses all in the Central, and one of them are going to be kicked out in the first round.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because there's such
to have the play-in round would have to have buy-in for the NHLPA. And in theory, though, I think it would be a good thing, because it's just more playoff rounds, more playoff revenue, more playoff hockey for the fans. But as far as the divisional format, I know Bettman likes it. He likes the fact that it breeds rivalries, quote unquote. I don't know how much the LA Kings like having faced the Edmonton Oilers 4 years in a row, but
Exactly. Like, what is the point of having these rivalries within your division that you have every year? It's like it's always gonna be Edmonton and LA. Well, not this year, but like these coming years, it's gonna be Minnesota and Avs and Dallas. Like, it's always gonna be these top three. Like, it's just gonna be boring for people to watch. Like, you have the great matchups in the first round, and then everyone else who makes it through gets an easy route, and they don't have to play a Dallas, or they don't have to play a Minnesota when they should be in the conference finals.
I don't think that the playoff format gets changed until we get expansion. Because once we get expansion, for example, the rumors are we're probably looking at maybe 2 more teams coming up joining the league.
34.
Yeah, when we get to 34 teams, that's when they're going to look at changing it, because then that will be the first time that if they keep it the same, you're going to have essentially more teams missing the playoffs than making the playoffs. And then all the teams that are missing the playoffs will be able to outvote all the teams that are making the playoffs. And then from ownership, you would be able to get a vote that would say, we want to change the format.
Because, I mean, if they get to 34 teams, I think the play-in round would probably be more viable, because at least like Aquaman, for one, is going to be all on board because he gets that one game revenue, that extra game of revenue for the so-called playoffs, and other teams can also benefit from that, right? But yeah, I don't know, man. It just sucks right now to see these same teams play every year, and the team that loses is definitely better than whatever team that actually makes it to the playoffs. Like the other team that makes it to the playoffs. I mean, look at how Florida got in.
Sometimes it just breaks out that way, right? Like sometimes it feels like the Stanley Cup happens in the second and third round, almost.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was the same thing when it was the Atlantic Division, right? You had Toronto, who was a very good team, going up against Boston and Tampa Bay, right? Like, it is what it is, right? Like, I mean, I'm the first one to poop all over the Maple Leafs and how terrible the job they've done building their team. But at the end of the day, man, like, that division was crazy, right? And now you have Florida suddenly at the top of that division. Well, they were at the top. They're not anymore. But you suddenly had 2 divisions, one in the East that was really, really good and one that was crap. So you'd have a situation like we do right now where I think Anaheim leads the Pacific. And what is it? Like, the Utah Mammoth have the same amount of points as the division leader, and the Utah Mammoth are in a wild card spot? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it makes no sense. No sense at all.
If you look at the Central, like, and we've had The thing is, like, we go through these years where you see these dominant teams because at this time period they are the best teams. But like, as teams rebuild, things should change, right? Like, you look at Chicago, like, they're awful right now, but they're going to get better over time. I'm not a big fan of what the Blues are doing, so I'm not going to mention that. Winnipeg Jets, right? I don't know what the hell happened to them this year, but last year they were insanely good, right?
The Jets are only 6 points out of the playoff spot, and so are the Blues.
Yeah, but what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say is
They
like,
won the President's Trophy last year too.
Exactly. Right, and then Nashville is kind of mushy middle. I know they're playing better as of late, and then Utah, like, that's a good young team, right? So it's like it looks kind of, I guess, bad now. Now, let me get this straight though. I actually do agree with you guys that, or some of you guys that I'm not a big fan of the playoff the way they do it now. I prefer just best team, last team. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of old school in that way. I think that'd be better option, but. I kind of like, I saw what they're doing. They want to build the whole rivalry crap, but I don't know. Maybe reseeding would be an interesting thing. Like, after the first round, then you go best team, last team. So just keeps the second rounds a little bit more interesting, and not just focusing on that. So, but yeah, it's gonna be fascinating just to see this year between those three teams, because like, it's a three-headed horse there, right? So. It's going to be really interesting which team kind of breaks. So I do think Colorado is that team, but man, I really like Dallas this year. They look really committed to win, like really good when I've watched them. So it's going to be good.
Are they going to get Sagan
Dallas
back for the playoffs? Tyler Sagan?
Dallas Stars, what, are 9-0-1 in the last 10 games?
Oh, they look like a team that's saying, "F off, it's our year. I don't care about Colorado." Like. That's what I feel. I think that's even another reason why the Colorado Avalanche went out and got Nazem Kadri and made a lot of those things, because they said, hey, you know what? Dallas is really scary. We need just a little bit more punch. And they got it.
Well, right now, 2 and 3 in the division is Dallas, Minnesota. So that would be the first round series. I'd love for Tyler Myers to knock out Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
I don't think Minnesota.
And our pick gets higher.
Because of the center position. I don't think they're strong enough at center to beat Colorado or Dallas, to be completely honest.
Minnesota's trade deadline was a bunch of role players. They didn't bring in any, like, the big center they brought in as a fourth liner who can win draws and maybe penalty kill for you, right? Like, he's a big boy, but he's not a 2-line. They don't have a 2C. And their stars, Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek, are both guys that have been injured by the end of the year every single year for the last few years. That's one of the big reasons they haven't been able to go on runs. They don't have the depth. And when you pay $17 million for Kaprizov, of course you can't have the depth. It's the same problem you run into with Toronto back in the day, where they had a bunch of guys making $12 million. Whether they had $40-something million tied up in their 4 players, right?
Ooh, Jacob's got a PD profile picture on StreamYard. Scandalous. But yeah, Minnesota was supposed to be in on Trocheck, and they didn't get that trade over the finish line, eh?
Trocheck probably said no because he heard from JT Miller that Quinn Hughes.
JT was going to cry or something. I don't know.
Hey,
Yeah.
Don't be hating on Petey.
Yeah.
I was letting my dog out. Oh, he's laying down in the background. It's actually pretty funny. What a good boy.
Well, that's the thing. I think that, I mean, there's also a situation with the way that things are going. Like, the Avs have been playing well, but they've also cooled off a bit. There's a situation where you could see Dallas take over that lead in that division and end up having a Colorado versus Minnesota lineup.
3 points difference right now.
Yeah. 97 points for Avalanche, 94 points for Dallas. Dallas played one more game.
Correct.
So it takes some doing, but they have been hot, right? But I mean, I don't know if Minnesota can make it out of that division facing either Dallas or Colorado, especially with the addition of Kadri. That changes everything.
It's the gauntlet.
Like, down the middle for Dallas, that's the only kind of worrisome thing, right? I mean, you have Robertson on the wing. Like, he's already, dude, he's playing lights out. Like, he got 2 goals the last game, and it's like, why have you still not re-signed him? And I don't know, man. Like, I think they're just trying to see how far they can go before they actually offer this guy a contract. Is that like, what do you guys think? Jason Robertson.
Jason Robertson.
So Gerald, here's something interesting. On the currently on the Dallas Stars roster, they only have 3 right wingers. We got 3 right wingers. They've got 4 left wingers, and they currently on this roster right now have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 centers. They have 10 centers on the Dallas Stars. They have more center depth than any other team in this entire league.
Can we just quickly talk about how absolutely tragic the Pacific Division is? Vegas has 76 points, and Colorado in the Central has 97.
Yeah,
like
Vegas is the division leader with 76 points, and Utah Mammoth is in a wild card spot with 74. Same amount of games played, and they have more wins than Vegas does because Vegas has 14 overtime losses.
Follow-up question, and I know this might sound crazy, but do you guys think the Edmonton Oilers are going to still make the playoffs? Because as of right now, they have 67 games played already. The San Jose Sharks only at 64, Kraken at 65, Kings at 66, and they are all chipping at their heels. And Edmonton Oilers' schedule is not that easy. And there's a lot of teams fighting for their lives in that schedule. Do you guys think the Edmonton Oilers are still going to make the playoffs? Do you think Leon and McDavid's going to pull through here and put them over the top and make the playoffs? Or do you think, could it possibly happen that the Oilers are going to miss, man? Which is just insane to me in my head.
You know what's going to happen, Jacob? You know what's going to happen?
What's that?
The Oilers are going to miss the playoffs because San Jose and the Kraken are going to jump over them. And then the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers are both going to win the draft lottery and draft number 1 and 2. That's what's about to happen.
Oh, the Leafs are going to win. Leafs are winning the lottery. Can you imagine? Like the Leafs fans would have such a roller coaster year, eh? Can you imagine that?
Yo, Tyler and I did a sim mock the other day, and the first or second one that we did, Leafs won.
Tyler, do it right now. Tankathon, go.
Yeah, do it. Go ahead.
Let's do it right now.
Oh yeah. Let's see if I can do it without.
But also, we're gonna do it 1 in the morning.
Let me.
Here, I'll do it. Tyler, I'll do it.
While you guys do it, okay?
We'll all do one.
I want you guys to quickly look at because the most a team can move up is 10 spots, correct?
Yes.
Right? The most
yes.
10. So if the most is 10 spots, when they actually go and call out these, with the cards coming out, who's the team? In theory, at that, what is it, 13 or 12th? 13th. If that 13th, if it's Washington who wins the lottery, then that means the Canucks will be picking top 2. Because that means we can't drop to 3rd because Washington is the 3rd team. Just something interesting to think about. Right? If I'm not, my math wrong here? Because if they move up 10 spots, they're picking 3rd. We can't pick 3rd in that scenario because we can only move down 2 spots. That means the Canucks have to be a top 2 pick. So we want Washington to win the lottery.
Okay, there's mine. I just did mine.
If I'm not
1, 2, 3, St. Louis, New York, Vancouver. Boo.
Man, imagine if we can get that Boston pick.
And I hope it kind of happens because it would be hilarious to see
Whose screen is this?
the reactions if Washington win the lottery. Just because everybody's going to think, what? They won the lottery. This is terrible news. Actually, no, it's actually really good news for Vancouver. Unless I'm completely wrong here. Well, anyways.
Whose screen is this?
Nice. We're second. Sweet.
It's mine.
Let's do it.
It's
Give
mine.
the Jets gets the Jets first overall. Fantastic. Winning a president.
Yeah, Jets. I'm okay with that.
Homer.
Yeah, according to Google, you can only move up 10 spots.
Yeah. So if Washington wins the lottery, wins that thing, that means the Vancouver Canucks are picking first or second, guaranteed. So we want to see Washington on that 13th card. Or we don't want to see Washington on that.
I see what you're
No,
saying.
but the problem is if you have a redraft, but the problem is if Washington actually does, say if Washington stays in that spot and they do, and they can't move up more than 10 spots and they do a redraft, apparently the odds for Vancouver is actually lower. So they wouldn't get first. They'd probably get second.
Oh, yeah. But it would still be a top 2 pick. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Because
Okay,
if any other team
I'm
actually
running a lottery
wins
here.
with,
Calgary Flames first
are
overall.
you gonna share it with us?
How did Russ gain a subscriber? We're not even streaming on his
I
channel.
don't even know, man. I gained a subscriber. I don't know what to tell you.
Way to go, Russ.
This guy.
Way to go, buddy.
Oh, hang on. I gotta change something on my thing.
It's probably one of the people that are watching this stream that
It
got
could
him.
be the Trevor Lennon video too, because that's up.
Trevor Lynn is subscribed. Confirmed.
Yeah, Trevor Lennon. Oh man, if he leaves a comment, I'm gonna blow my load.
Yeah.
Have a
That'd be pretty cool.
fucking Lonely Island moment.
I'll do it too. I'll spin it as well. All right, here I'm gonna spin. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, there you go.
Oh my god.
New Jersey and Calgary.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I dropped as well. By the way.
New Jersey's revenge. And then they'll get Quinn in free agency in 2028.
New Jersey, Calgary. I have Toronto winning the lottery with St. Louis Blues is number 2. Calgary Canucks in 3. Leafs
So
winning the
Boston
lottery.
gets the first overall.
Please.
No. It's top 5 protected.
Oh, right. So Toronto
Wow, it
keeps
even
the
has
pick.
those parameters, eh?
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's why the Leafs fans are still cheering them to lose, because it is top 5 protected and they still have a shot at thing. But can you imagine they come 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, whatever, and and they have to give it to their all-time rivals, the Boston Bruins. That's rough. That is rough.
I ran it again, and the Canucks.
Hey, do any of you guys know? Do any of you guys know if ever since it was the 1-2, so the first and second as the lottery, has how many times has the last team, like the 30 or the highest odd team, won the lottery? Because it seems like every year someone jumps up.
It wasn't last year, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Was it the last year, or the year before either? Let me see.
Because Islanders won last year, jumped 10 spots. The year before, wasn't it New York that jumped up and got first?
It
Or was
was
the year before
in
when they got
2016?
Lafreniere?
in 2016 when the Leafs got Matthews. They were the lowest. In 2015, Buffalo
according to
tried
Google,
so hard.
Since the inception of the NHL draft lottery in 1995, the team
Do you want
with
to
the
show us,
highest
Russ?
draft lotteries 12 times. Right, got a goddamn timer on this one.
It's happened a few times.
Yeah,
They're
so
good.
it's San Jose, Buffalo,
Wow.
Buffalo. Yeah, but it
Yeah,
says
Buffalo.
12 times in, what would that be? 95 to 2024. What is it? How many years? It's like a third of the time. 30 years.
What an absolutely franchise-changing pick that San Jose with them winning that lottery, man.
Ooh.
Unbelievable. And that's
Yep.
gonna be us. That's gonna
Here
be
we
us this
should-
year, boys. That's gonna be us. All right. It's gonna be us. We're gonna, even though I said we're gonna pick third, all the lucky things I did or I do usually during the draft, I'm just gonna do the exact opposite this time. So like, just to see if I can trick the system or something, because I don't know, man. Wouldn't it be nice though? Wouldn't it be nice, guys?
It would be.
Just in general.
To at least just win that, which we have never done, that would be something for me.
But do you know how hilarious it's going to be where you're getting these reactions? It's like people are like, even like, let's just say we get top two, right? Everybody's going to be going crazy for the top two, and then we lose the top pick, and I think they're still going to be like, it's all good, it's all good, you know.
Do you guys remember when Toronto won the lottery for Matthews?
Yeah, Steve Dangle.
I don't know if you guys remember the social media response. Dangle was freaking going off on his channel. People were popping champagne. It's like, we won something. Oh my God.
That's what's going to happen. And we're going to win the draft lottery. Like I said, get McKinnon. Then we get the cup in 5 years.
There you go.
Pop champagne on my stream like Steve Dangle.
Dare to dream, man.
All of our streams at once. We should get
I'll do
literally
this.
every single
Spray our
content
computers
creator,
with champagne.
and we just go crazy and party, man. That would be a pretty fun thing to do during the lottery if we all kind of got together. But I don't
Stream the lottery like we're doing right now.
Funny thing is, like with me, like
Oh yeah.
I work a full-time job and I work during the day. So for me, just getting work off or stuff is kind of tricky for me. I have to kind of maneuver around. Like even in creating content, like I have to do everything super late at night and stuff like that. And I love doing it. It's a lot of fun, but you know, sometimes it's not easy, right?
Respect.
Right.
Because the draft isn't the first round usually like at least like 5 p.m. No.
Oh, the actual draft.
The draft itself.
The actual draft isn't
for. Let me double check.
Yeah. Depends where it is, I think.
It Friday. Oh, sorry. Wait. The draft is on Friday, Saturday? Is that right?
I don't think
Usually.
I thought it was not on Friday.
I remember the Vancouver one was.
Oh, dude.
The first round was Friday. And
I went to the
we
draft.
traded for JT on the Saturday.
Friday, June 26th and Saturday, June 27th.
Well, hot diddly dog. That is fantastic news for me because my schedule just changed and I have Thursday, Friday off. So
Perfect.
I will have
There you
no
go.
issues.
Nice.
No issues.
But they
with that.
have not announced when they're doing the draft lottery yet.
Yeah, that's usually 2 to 3 weeks
usually the
after
second
playoffs.
round.
Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks after the playoffs start. All right, quick question for you guys. Hot take. Who is your most underdog pick to win the Stanley Cup this year? I'm gonna go, and I don't even know if I should start this. I'll let you guys go because I don't want to spoil my pick. Who do you guys got? Underdog pick.
Dark horse.
Dark horse.
Okay. You guys go first.
I'll go Buffalo.
That's
Ooh,
cheating. That's
interesting.
cheating. Because that was my pick.
I was actually gonna say
I
Buffalo.
had that in my pocket too. How
I think Russ
how
is gonna
choked
say
could you guys be
Minnesota
that they
Wild.
leave the sad club? Hey, because right now the sad club is just us in Buffalo. How choked would you be if they left it?
I wouldn't be joked at all. I'll be happy for them. I would be. I really would be. They're a great
So pathetic.
fan base, man. They're a great fan base, man. Like
I know.
they still sell out majority
I'm
of
just
their
talking
games.
about from our perspective. You know what else would happen? In the 39th year, right before they join the sad club, San Jose would win the cup.
I don't want San Jose to win. I'm still tilted.
around
It's
a long
Celebrini,
Thornton.
though.
I'm just glad Joe Thornton never got a cup.
Like in 15 years later or whatever, with Joe Thornton, I'm still tilted.
Yeah.
I love the hate for Thornton. I love
Poking
it. Thornton.
Henrik Sedin in the nose. Fucking hate that guy.
Yeah, and the referee situation, right? Oh, that pissed me off. That still pisses me off watching that clip. See when Brad Marchand freaking punching the city, it pissed me off.
Speed bagging Daniel.
Yeah, don't like that. But then Marchand turned all super nice guy all of a sudden. It's like, no, I want to hate you, man. What are you doing?
And I hate Marchand for punching. Was it Daniel or Henrik? I can never remember. Who was he punching in the face repeatedly? Swerving, you're the only one who knows.
Sorry, what was the question?
Who was Brad Marchand? Which of the Sedin twins was he punching in the face over and over again?
Daniel.
Was it Daniel?
Daniel.
Yeah.
See,
was
I
Daniel
hate
for sure.
Marchand for that, but I also hate Daniel Sedin for standing there and getting punched in the face over and over again.
He was
It
trying
was
to draw a
because-
penalty.
It's because of
Yeah,
the Samuelson
because the
influence.
fucking power play sucked ass. So what was the fucking point of trying to draw a penalty? Stand up for your fucking self. There's a time where you act like a gentleman.
I
You're
know.
in the middle of the goddamn playoff series. You should have fucking fought back. That pisses me off. It's such a. I mean, I love the Sedins. Don't get me wrong. They're two of the goats for this organization. But that moment was the moment where the Sedins should have shown a little bit of anger and turned things around. Because guess what? If you look back at the power play in that series, their power play sucked. So there was no point even trying to draw it. You know what you do there? You show your team that you're going to punch Brad Marchand right back in the face, and you actually spark that team, because that team didn't lose because they were a worse team. They lost because they saw one of their best players just standing there getting punched in the face, and that's demoralizing.
Especially giving the score of the game at the time when that happened,
Yeah.
right? I don't know. I forget what
Sorry,
game it
Russ.
was.
This is for you. This is for you.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. Like, I don't like
Zero.
players
Big
who've
zero.
never fought, right?
In
Which
the
is
whole
fine.
career.
it was never the
Right?
game. But like I was saying, like I think it was one of those blowout games, like game 3 or 4, and at that time he should have just gone for broke and butt ended up in the face.
Well,
with
that's
his
the
stick
thing
or
is
something.
you wait your entire career, you don't do anything, and in that moment, you suddenly turn around and you crack Brad Marchand right across the face, and you take him down. I think that could have changed that entire series, and that could have been one, right?
Remember Zadorov and Susie with the cross check to McDavid right in the face.
Russell plays it every show.
Every stream I play that. I have that clip every single
Oilers
stream.
fans lost their absolute mind that even the social media account from the Edmonton Oilers were losing their mind. And what was crazy about that whole thing is in Vancouver, people were like, that was the greatest thing in ever. Like, seriously, like that's what people wanted to see. Like, and you know, don't get me wrong, like I'm pretty sure a lot of us here, and I'm not going to speak for you guys, but we respect the hell out of Connor McDavid. He's an unbelievable hockey player. But in that time, in that series, to see like the Canucks kind of stand up and had enough of their shit and just do something, man, that was fun, man. Like that series, there was the hate was crazy, and I wasn't even doing like hockey YouTube at that time. I can't imagine how it was for people that were doing hockey YouTube at that time, man. It must have been insane. The back and forth. I know hockey Twitter was it's crazy during that time, man. Edmonton Twitter versus Canucks Twitter.
That was great.
I got banned from the Edmonton Oilers subreddit that year.
If the Oilers missed the playoffs,
Even the
can you
Garland
imagine?
McDavid stuff too.
Yeah. The Garland McDavid, where Garland was just sitting on top of him for a minute.
But see, like I will say this though, like this is where I know this is gonna sound bad, but I kind of respect McDavid a bit when he went out and he kind of took it out on Garland after that, because he's a star player that doesn't do things like that very often, and he got so pissed off he went out and he lost his mind. Now, should he have obviously done it and injured a player? No, I'm not saying he should have went that far, but I do respect the tenacity of being a star player that's not super physical, not super tough, defending, I guess he thought in that scenario himself against, you know, Garland, who's not the biggest, toughest guy in the world, but still, you know, he didn't want to take any crap, right?
He did in
I
a
do
regular
respect-
season game.
I do respect
what Russell
that.
was saying that Daniel should have done in that finals game.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Like sometimes you need moments, and I think it would be really interesting to see, like, if a guy like Pettersson, right, who, you know, gets criticized for being, you know, too soft and dives a lot. Can you imagine one day he just gets so pissed off he just drops the gloves and fights? I think people would be, even if he loses, I think people would be like, whoa, this guy, like, he cares, man. He really cares.
There's some
He
respect there.
I think it would be really nice to see, and I don't know. I just something
He would
that,
absolutely
like,
gain a lot of fans if that happened.
let me ask you guys another question here. Toughness, right? We've had this conversation on my channel and other related channels. Toughness, like, do you think you need toughness on a top line or even on a top 2 line, or do you think it's okay to just have a really tough third line, big, strong, physical third line, big, strong, physical fourth line, or do you guys think it is important to have, you know, the first top 6 to have a big, tough guys on that line? It's like, do you need
I think top. Okay. If you're gonna say power forward, then it's definitely it would be appreciated to have it on a top 2 line. But if it's just an enforcer,
no, not an
like,
enforcer. I mean, someone who can play, but
You need at
someone
least
who
one.
has grit.
In 2011, we had Rafi Torres, right? He's like a wrecking ball.
but he played third
Made-
line though.
There's a third liner.
At times, he was on second
He
line.
was a
but
third
he was
liner.
but he was that guy. He did his job, right? He was made for playoff hockey. But as far as toughness goes, like sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail, right? People say that the Sedins were not tough. I beg to differ, because they were out there shift after shift after top line, facing top lines, best defenseman in the league, holding pucks. So, you know,
Yeah, so like
you need toughness both ways.
like, well, the reason I bring this up is because Connor McDavid, he was asked the question in that playoff run with the Canucks at the end of that, and then at the very end of the playoffs when he lost in Game 7 in the Stanley Cup the first time, and he was asked who was the hardest player he had to play against in that entire playoff run, and out of all the teams, and he said JT Miller. He said JT Miller. He didn't say Barkov or, all the superstar players he played against. No, he said JT Miller. He said JT Miller was on me like I've never had a guy on me before. He was all over it. And the fact that JT Miller was that guy who's like, really criticized here, the fact that he had that playoff run and a guy like Connor McDavid noticed how good he was, that physicality aspect, I do hope in the future we do get another, I'm not saying another JT Miller like with the off-ice stuff, but I'm just talking about more, JT Miller with like the physicality and the hitting and the stuff like that. I
He's
think
a bit of a unicorn.
Yeah, and like Tom Wilson on Washington, right? Bit of a unicorn guy. I think almost every team seems to have them that win cup. So like, look at Florida; they have Kachuk, right? Like, so you just look at the cup winners, or even like the people in the cup finals. Like, look how many of them have at least one guy in the top 6 that could do all that stuff. I think it's important, personally.
See now, don't you go back and look at the West Coast Express era and think, how the hell did that team not make it all the way? Like that team,
Dan Kluche
at the same time.
Okay. Aside from Dan Kluche, but like you have a Bertuzzi who's like a power forward. Like he's just that natural built.
You answered your own
forward
question too. Todd Bertuzzi. What if Todd Bertuzzi had gone off on a shift change? 2 things. Dan Kluche was the first year. We should have beaten Detroit. That would have been an incredible upset. They were up 2-0 after winning both games in Detroit. They come back and he lets in that goal from center ice. It was even
Nick
blue line, bro. It was center ice.
It was at the blue. Was it center ice?
Yeah.
I remember it was blue line. Boom.
And after that, he was a sieve. He couldn't stop a beach ball. And that was one of the very first hockey memes I ever saw, was Dan Kluche with a beach ball behind him in the net, right? That one's the internet was young. And then the second part of why the West Coast Express never did it is Todd Bertuzzi broke Steve Moore's neck. And he was never the same after that.
That was unfortunate.
He also mathed off Willie Mitchell in 03 against Minnesota when we were up 3-1.
Yeah, that's true too.
And then they came back and killed us.
I still can't believe we didn't win 2011, to be honest. But I don't want to do revisionist history here. But like
Lafayette hitting the post.
Dan Ham Hughes' injury.
How sad are we, man? Can you imagine like other fan bases coming in and logging onto the stream and being like, "Wow, look at these guys." Canucks fans are so sad.
Hey, we just started talking about this now, and we're on for 2 hours and 42 minutes, and we just started. That's impressive, okay? Even though we did talk about Linden earlier, but that was a different era. But that was a different era. This is fun, though. This is actually a lot of fun hanging out with all you guys talking hockey. I know we're all obviously absolute diehard Canucks fans. It's 1:13 a.m. in the morning. We're just talking bullshit. Like, sorry, I shouldn't swear. This isn't my channel. I gotta be careful because I don't know.
I'm allowed to swear, by the way. I haven't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let it out.
It's well after midnight.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what the rules are in this channel, so I don't want to.
It's unleashed. Yeah, it's after dark unleashed now, so we can do whatever, right?
If somebody's got a kid and they're on a tablet and they're scrubbing through to the 2-hour 43-minute mark of a Canucks stream, that's on you. Okay.
Well, if they rewatch it, then that might be an issue, man.
Hey, I'll give you guys one last question before I head to bed here. The NHL draft is coming up. Lottery is coming up. Do you guys think it would be a mistake? And I really want to hear kind of all your guys' opinions on this. Do you guys think it would be a mistake if they go out and trade potentially one of those draft picks, obviously not the first one, but one of those draft picks, and get a young player in return by another team? Let's just say the young player is a guy like Kent Johnson, for example, who is struggled so far this season, but has big potential because it's just something that I've had a debate with some people, and I'm just curious what your guys' take are, considering we are in a rebuild.
My personal take,
bro. Wait one sec.
Go ahead.
When you brought that name up, it was like when I saw the Columbus trade, it came in for Garland. I was like, oh, please be Kent Johnson. And it became fucking picks. Like why? But anyway, sorry, Irvin.
I just don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want projects. I want picks. And for me, if a team is going to give up on a guy like Johnson and he's any good, it's probably just another project. It's probably another Emerson Edom or Lyndon Vey, and I've had enough of that shit. You know,
Lyndon
Ken
Vey.
Johnson, no. Like
Matthew
I'm
Highmore,
with you. I'm with
fucking
you.
Brian Stanton. Who the
He's
hell's
not
the guy
right
we gave
kind
up
of player.
for Gustav
Ken
Forsling?
Johnson's not-
We did it.
he's not
How
We did an
old is
age
he,
gap
though?
trade
He is.
for Gustav
he's
Forsling.
not
And who we get?
23.
That old. He's 23.
23.
Like that's
23, 6 foot, 170 pounds.
can play both center and wing.
He's
Mostly
mostly a left winger.
Mostly.
Right hand too. Is he left or right?
He's a left-hander.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was hoping right. I was hoping right. God damn it.
He's got
Russ.
1 point in his last 5 games. He's
Yeah,
got he's got 20 points this season in 63 games played. He's a -7.
We
He's
gave
been
up a
banned.
second rounder for Sven Berchi, and Calgary got Rasmus Anderson from that pick, and he was a good player for them for a decade.
And what did they just turn Rasmus Anderson into? 3 first-round picks and multiple prospects.
That was a great pick by Calgary. Doesn't guarantee
Yeah.
that we would have drafted Rasmus Anderson, by the way, but
Right. Because at that point, we probably would have screwed it up because we didn't have anyone who knew what they were doing in the draft, right?
I will say though, guys, if you remember, immediately after that trade, after the first little thing, even a year and a half here, Sven played pretty well for us. He did have some moments where he was
Berchi.
pretty good. He just fell
Felt
off.
like
He
it.
just fell off. He really fell off. But he did have
Yeah.
some few minutes that made you think, maybe he could be something, but that obviously didn't work. By the way, Ken Johnson, in the 2024 season, he had 57 points, 24 goals in 68 games. Oh, basically a point per game player. So that is, who are you? Are you Nils Hoglander for the rookie season 20, 30 goals? Or are you, what are you now?
Kepner's been in the chat forever. Doesn't he want to get on?
Yeah, he never comes on these. He's editing thumbnails and stuff right now.
I didn't
I
think
know
I
you're
was going to
hearing-
come on. And then I'm like, hey, come on. I'm like, all right.
Ooh.
Punch Eric.
Shinkarik,
If Ken Johnson was 6'4" and 230 pounds, I would say yes.
he would never get traded if he was 6 foot under.
Right.
Right.
And then
Hunter
anyone. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. And Hunter Shinkarik, he put up ridiculous numbers in the World Juniors, for years. And he was I think at the time, the leading USA scorer of all time or something. So, obviously there was skill there. They probably just thought, hey, this guy's going to have such a huge ceiling that, hey, why not pick him? What did Shinkarik go, 17th or something?
He's the 24th. He's the same draft year as Bo
24th,
Horvat.
yeah.
He was their own pick. They weren't supposed to pick at 9, but they traded Schneider for Horvat.
You know what's worse, though?
Yeah.
That trading Jared McCann. People forgot. That's a Canucks pick. man.
Oh God.
That was from the Kessler
Don't
trade.
forget that.
pick.
24th pick, by the way. 24th pick as well.
And we didn't pick Pasternak. And we got McCann and flipped him
But
for
every
Goodbranson.
team missed Pasternak.
I'm pulling up the stats that we want, but we don't really need. Here you go, guys.
So, yeah,
That's the wrong one. Here we are.
that's a beautiful thumbnail.
Yeah, isn't it? It's a good one. Look at him just sitting there on the. Oh, I'm small.
That's what she says.
Oh,
Here, Tyler, you wanna?
Yeah, I got it.
Jared McCann,
There we go.
20 points in 18 games against the Canucks.
Yep. He had a maturity problem when he was here, and they gave up on him real quick.
Seems to be a bit of a pattern. Giving up on players too soon.
Yeah.
I'd call him.
How old was he when he got traded?
Do you remember who we traded him for,
23?
He's
Jacob?
just about to be 20. It was his draft plus 1 year or something like that.
Oh, who did he get traded
And the other thing
to?
too is that they forced him into the NHL way too early because we were a shit team. So
They
pretend
flipped him
and
to
both made
Florida for Goodbranson.
Neither one of them should have been.
Was that the Goodbranson trade?
We traded him for Goodbranson.
That was Goodbranson was.
Yeah. The fabled summer of 2016 when we drafted Ulevy, traded for Goodbranson, and we signed Louis Eriksson. It was
I was
the
at
all-timer.
Yo Levy. Remember that draft? They had the draft party in the arena. I was in there.
What was your reaction?
They're like, "Hey, from the London Knights." Everybody's like, or was it? Yeah, London Knights.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, London Knights.
And everybody's like, "Oh, Kachuk, right?" Olio Levy. It's like, fuck. Like it was rough, man. But at the same time, like to be honest, like to give you my honest reaction, I'm like, oh, maybe we finally get that defenseman that could be the guy for a long time, and we never drafted defenseman, this high. Like that was my like, oh, maybe. And then I saw him play. I'm like, yeah.
You want to know what the shitty thing was? The really shitty thing was? Their logic. We don't need a Kachuk. We have Virtanen.
But the Sergachev was available that draft too, by the way, and that's a big, strong guy too. It's just Olavi had ripped it up in that World Juniors, and they're like, "Holy shit, this guy's amazing." By the way, that Kachuk, the night, or was it the week before, or maybe 2 weeks before, he was in the finals, I believe, in the Memorial Cup, and he had a between the legs top shelf roof goal. Just nasty goal, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy's skill is unreal for his size. Can't skate that well at the time, right? But man, his skill's unreal, and yeah, well, the rest is kind of history. He has 2 cups now, so.
The only solace you can take from the 2016 draft is that the Edmonton Oilers put Jesse Puljujärvi right before Olio, so that's the only thing. We're both miserable in that draft.
That whole
is
Finnish
that the-
junior
is that
team
the
kind of
year?
flamed out, hey? Line A's nothing anymore, and
Yeah,
Jarry's
Line
not
was
even in the
second
league.
overall to the Jets.
Was that the year where Edmonton traded the 2 second or 3 second rounders for, what was his name? Oilers. I'm trying to find it. The one of the worst trades of all time for them. What was it again?
Is Strome? You talking about Strome? The Larson trade?
I'll find
Paul
it.
for Larson?
No, not that one. The worst one. The crazy
Gotta
thing
be
about the
specific,
Hall
man.
for Larson trade, by the way, is I still think they would have been able to get more if they actually properly shopped Taylor Hall, because no one saw Taylor Hall getting traded. No one. Like it wasn't reported anywhere at the time.
I will now list defensemen that were drafted after Olio, Sergachev, Chikrin, Fabro, McAvoy.
Russell's still farming subs. Jesus.
We could have, any one of them would have been fine. Any one of them.
Yep.
Was McAvoy in that one?
Forwards like
McAvoy?
Sam
Yeah,
Steele,
McAvoy.
right? Like, and he's not even a top end player, but he still plays in the NHL.
I found it. The
Clayton
Griffin
Keller.
Reinhardt trade.
Reinhardt.
Wait, they traded to draft him?
They traded the 16th and the 33rd overall picks to the New York Islanders to get Griffin Reinhardt. And those picks in that draft, if I'm not mistaken, was like there were so many crazy players around.
What did the picks become?
I'll tell you right now. 33. So
Tage Thompson, Logan Stanley.
Matthew Barzal was the 16th. That was
Barzell.
No, was it Kyle Connor and Barzell? Was that the year? I think it was. Let me take a look here.
I love looking back on these drafts.
Yo, this is crazy. Boston had 3 first rounders that year. They picked Jake.
Yeah, 3 in a row. And
DeBrusque and Zachary, and then right after that went Barzell, Kyle Connor, Shabbat, Svechnikov, Joel Eriksson Ek.
yeah,
Crazy. Well, that's crazy.
they're so funny to look back on. Like Jaden Grube was taken at the top of his round in 2013 ahead of Jason Dickinson, who we flipped for Stillman, then flipped for Bloom, and then we flipped for Jaden Grube. And now Bloom is on the same team as Stillman, or no, Dixon.
The picks was Barzell. They picked with that 16th pick, the Islanders, and they also picked Anthony Beauvillier, who's had a good NHL career.
Decent.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say in like a positive way about this Canucks team where we're at is, as much as you can say anything about the way that Rutherford and Alvin have run this team from the NHL level, when it comes to the drafting, they have been doing a much better job of having players that they've drafted that are still developing very nicely, right? Like Lekramacky, DPD, Ty Young, Kirill Kudratsev, 2022 draft. Those guys are all in our system currently. 2023 draft, Villander, Sorminio, Ty Mueller, Vilmar Ulrichsen, right? Aiden Celebrini still, developing in the NCAA. Probably won't be much, but at least, right? And then even Riley Pattinson, Anthony Romani, Park Alcos, and Basil Sansones, who is playing over in Switzerland, who is probably going to maybe end up being an AHLer. But that's 4 picks out of 5, but they actually have players that are quality players. Basil Sansones is a defenseman who's a big-ass mother, and he plays very well. He's always playing for Team Switzerland, right? So he could end up being the kind of guy that you see. Like we had, 6 people go to the Olympics in this last one, and 2 of them were in Abbotsford, and we've traded we traded one of them away in Reichel. But at the end of the day, the current management team, however they're doing their drafting, has been like leaps and bounds better than anything that was done by the group before them. So, and that's one thing I didn't say earlier, but Rutherford says we've been doing our rebuild for a while now, and a lot of these players are developing very, very nicely.
In that 2023 year, that I remember the Minio and Mueller and those guys specifically, there was a lot of people really upset at those picks. They thought they were just throwing away picks, and both of those guys look pretty decent.
Yeah.
No, that year in 22, I think they were high on Ogren, and that's why they went to Minnesota and grabbed Ogren. Because I think Ogren was 19th and Lekkerimäki was 23, and they played on the same team.
Mm-hmm. Lekkerimäki went 15th overall that year.
Was it 15th?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that Lekkerimäki pick at the time too, because they were picking for top end ceiling.
Yeah. So Ausland, who is the other member of their line, went to Buffalo right after Lekkerimäki, and then Liam Ogren went to Minnesota at 19.
Truly, there's never any way to know. People get so bent out of shape about names we pick or we don't pick. Remember Roland McEwen? Exactly.
No.
But it was a name that I remember fans being like, "Wow, do we leave this guy?" I'm like, he did nothing. But you never know. Even like Quinn Hughes, when he came on the scene, I thought his ceiling was going to be Mike Green. Like, we didn't really know he'd go to the heights that he did. You know?
Did you know he was going to go to the lows that he did?
Well,
Well, who are we talking about?
Hey,
Quinn Hughes.
so sorry. If we
okay.
if we look back at PD's draft and we snagged him at 5, everyone else, no one saw him. No one even had him in the top 10. Like, oh wow, you have a Quinn Hughes hat on. Do you still think that was a good pick? PD at 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
100%. Oh yeah.
It's so easy to dump on him now, but the promise was there when in his first, 3-4 years in the league, and we're always trashing on that 11.6, but we signed him on the promise of what we thought he was, which is a franchise 1C.
I don't know why I'm typing it twice every time. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know how that's happening. Apologize.
Okay, man.
Did you switch your hat to a Quinn Hughes hat? Is that what's going on?
No, I just had it. It was on the whole time. It was just backwards.
I just
cut the thick of it. Cut the thick of it. Like this, I gotta admit, it's a nice hat, man. It's a nice hat.
Okay. To answer Adrian's question, a do-over of any of the Canucks drafts, easy. Yager, not Nedved. 1990.
Daryl
Jaromir
Sittler over what's his face? Very first pick the Canucks ever made.
Are you talking the expansion draft or are you talking the actual draft, Russ?
The actual draft, all the way back, 1970. Their very first pick.
Boys, I'm going to head to bed.
They took Dale Talon.
Take care.
Thanks for having me.
Taylor Swervin.
Have a good one, Irv.
They took Dale Talon in 1970 as their first pick, which was second overall because we lost the draft lottery to Buffalo. And Daryl Sittler went like 10th that year. And Daryl Sittler ended up being like a Toronto Maple Leaf legend.
Interesting.
A lifer.
The first draft we ever did, and we screwed it right up.
You know what? Picking Yo Levy over Kachuk, man, that's rough.
Mm-hmm.
But
then in hindsight, he probably would have done the same thing to us that he did to Calgary, right? Like, he's not in Calgary anymore.
Yeah. Man, oh man.
I mean, I'd go back to the Jake Virtanen draft, right?
Well, who was in that draft? Oilers, right?
Like who went after Jake Virtanen? William Nylander, Nikolaj Ehlers, Kevin Fiala, Dylan Larkin, Travis Sanheim, Alex Tuck, Nick Schmaltz, Jared McCann. Well, we actually took him. David Pasternak, Kempe from Adrian Kempe, right? Like.
This year's draft, how much stock are you putting in on size up the middle because we have Marco Rossi? Would you guys be okay with drafting a guy like Vigo York, for example?
Keep the brother train rolling, right? Because we already got his brother.
And you can actually get the Ruck twins probably after that too. Maybe, potentially.
No, I honestly, Jacob, I think that should be one of the markers that the Canucks are looking at heavily this year is the size of these players that we're bringing in.
I agree. Unless you don't believe Marco Rossi is going to be a long-term center for us, then you can move him to the wing and have smaller. Like, you don't need to have a big second-line center as long as you have a very big first-line center and or vice versa. Like, but ideally, you have two big centers up the middle. It just opens up so much room and space and everything. So, and then you can have smaller guys on the wings. That you don't have to have. But I think a best line. I've always thought about this, and I still think it's pretty standard. Big center up the middle. You have a playmaking smaller winger, and then you have a tenacity kind of guy who crashes the boards to get the puck for the creative guy who can also shoot the puck. I think that is your prototypical first and second line. That's how I'll kind of think about it moving forward, which is why I'm really curious what they do with a guy like, or if they look at a guy like Ethan Belchez, who's maybe not the most physical guy in the world, but he plays very similar to a guy like Tage Thompson, which I'm a big fan of. But I do think Tage Thompson has more grit than people make him out to be. I think he actually plays really hard.
Dude, the guy's a giant. Yeah. Like,
but he doesn't play like
five.
That's the only problem. Like, he doesn't someone would need to go in his head and be like, "Hey, you're 6'5". You are a monster, bro. Use that. Get some physicality going too, because you can really make a big difference. Because I don't think he's the most physical player from all the games I've seen him and from some of the clips I've seen.
We've already got Ethan Belchez at home. His name's Vilmer Eriksson.
Well, Belchez, I get what you're saying, but Belchez is a significantly better skater. Even though he's not the best skater, he's still significantly better skater than him, and playmaker as well.
But I would say Vilmer Eriksson has taken some incredible strides in Abbotsford this year before he got hurt.
Which is nice to hear.
Which I think a big part of his development was playing on a line with Jujhar Khaira, because Jujhar Khaira is a similar body type to Vilmer Eriksson, and I think them playing together has really helped Vilmer Eriksson learn how he should be playing the game.
Did you notice him much at the Olympics?
Who? Vilmer Eriksson?
Yeah, Eriksson.
He didn't play. He wasn't at the Olympics. He was injured.
Okay.
Yeah, he did a different guy. I think you're thinking of a different guy. Vilmer Eriksson's the Swedish guy who plays for Abbotsford.
But he's a huge guy. He's massive.
Yeah, he's 6'5", big boy.
Was it Alstead that made the Olympic team for, what is it? Latvia,
the Abbotsford Canucks players who made the Olympic rosters was Reichel, who we know, and Ravinskis, Henri Ravinskis, who played for Latvia.
Latvia,
We actually
yeah.
had 2 players playing for Latvia in Beluga and Henri Ravinskis. But Henri was a late addition due to injury and didn't get a lot of minutes at the Olympics. But he
Russ,
was looking very good leading up to the Olympics.
Russ, let me ask you here, because I've always debated like how important are points in the AHL. Like you look at Vilmer Ulrichsen, like he has 9 points in 43 games. It's like eventually you gotta have to look at it and be like, this guy has 9 points in 43 games.
Yeah.
I know you said he played better, but like
Right.
he must have been much better to make up that.
I would
difference.
say what I said to the guys before you got on was if you take the first 20 games of the Abbey Canucks season, were a complete and total write-off. They were devastated by their own injuries, and on top of that, they were also dealing with the fact that a bunch of their guys had been called up, so they didn't have Baines playing down there. So, like, I think their first 20 games, I think they had only won like 3 games or something. Like, it was bad, and that's why earlier when I was talking about Manny versus Foote, if you remove that first 20 games, the Abbey Canucks are actually in a playoff spot, having sustained more injuries than the Vancouver Canucks, which is why I really think that Manny is the guy to take over this roster like immediately. Because, I mean, I can't say they would be in a playoff spot if Manny was the coach of this team the whole year, but I guarantee they would not have been on a streak like they are right now, where what if the Canucks won like 2 games in their last 11 or something like that?
Isn't it crazy we've been on for 3 hours and we haven't mentioned anything about Pettersson really?
Other
Clear,
than
how
he's
about this
a
one?
profile picture.
All right, like because
about-
Kemper just mentioned if we put PD on the wing,
Oh, I'd love it.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it too.
The thing I've always thought about PD, and
Okay.
I don't know if he has
For the last
fit.
18 games
Yeah,
before his Carolina Hurricane.
for PD, if you could, and this is the thing is Atu Ratu was a guy I really wanted to see put on a line with PD too, because Atu Ratu, which people don't understand, he's actually got the second most hits on the Canucks right now, even though he has been benched like 30 games.
Makes no sense, man.
Right? But if
Second
it
to
weren't for-
DPD? Is it second to Elias Pettersson, like DPD?
Vander Kane has the most hits on this team right now.
Oh, okay. I thought
But
DPD had some really like
He's up
been
there.
averaging. He's getting up there.
He's getting more physical recently. He was actually not crazy physical for the first half of the season, which was actually kind of weird. This is what I mean with the whole foot system thing, where like DPD was hitting everything that moved last season. What happened?
Okay, so here's the funny story. You know who leads the Vancouver Canucks in hits right now? And we've all forgot because he doesn't play anymore. Kiefer Sherwood
Sherwood. Yeah.
has 210
Yeah.
hits. Atu Ratu's second. So I lied to you. Evander Kane is actually 4th on the team with 98. So Atu Ratu, and this isn't up to date. I haven't put in the last couple games here. But the number 1 hitter on this team is Atu Ratu. So, and like the thing is that what we don't think about is with the Abbey Canucks run last year, Atu Ratu actually ended up getting hurt. And then on top of that, they obviously just had him around the team. So he didn't start his off ice training until when did they finish up? It was like almost July. So Atu Ratu did not get a normal offseason, which was terrible for his development. So if he can go, knock on wood, I'm going to do this right now, go into the offseason this year and do some proper training and hopefully get his skating a little bit better, then suddenly you're looking at a situation where I think Atu Ratu and EP40 would be a great combination just because of the incredible amount of faceoffs that Atu Ratu can win. He leads the team at 61% in the faceoff dot, and he's got 105 hits. And he's also, even though he's only played, what has he played? He's played 45 games and he leads the team in hits.
It's been scratched so many times. It's just
He gets
ridiculous.
2 hits a game.
He
He
needs
gets
to play
2
every
plus hits a
single
game.
game for the rest
Yeah.
of the season. I have no understanding why this is not a thing. Like it needs to be a thing. And the amount of times he's gotten scratched, even coming off really good, decent games, it was just way too frequent.
He led the team in scoring. It was a 6-game span where he was a point per game, and then they benched him.
It's one of the weirdest things, man. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
That's when Camp came in.
Where did I hear it?
We did turn Camp into a 6th rounder.
Yeah, but we also didn't get anything back for Kane. So, and we got
No one
Lucas
wanted
Reichel
Kane.
for a sixth when we gave up a fourth. It was
Yeah,
a
They didn't
fourth.
even
that was a
give.
loss.
My problem was not so much to giving him getting a sixth, or even though we gave him a fourth. It's the fact that you gave up a fourth and you didn't give him a proper look to see how he actually is. Like,
Yeah.
he played 14 games for us or something like that. Like, if
And
you're
they
gonna
never
give
put
up
him
a-
on the wing. They should have
Yeah.
put Reichel on the wing.
Like, at least give him
Yeah.
a proper. At least give him a proper look and see what you actually.
He was
have
the best.
here.
He was one of the best players on Abbotsford because Manny Malhotra put him on the wing and then taught him how to play wing because he knows how to do that kind of thing.
That was my problem with that trade. I still rated that.
Dude, Reichel playing for Germany, he did well too. Like he
Yeah.
actually played pretty well on the wing. Didn't he was Draisaitl's sidekick.
Yeah.
Reichel
He scored a
actually
couple of
in,
goals too. I
in
actually
AHL.
watched it too.
He just scored the other night.
Reichel did.
Reichel?
Who did they trade him to again? Was it Boston? Or was it
Chicago, I think.
Boston, yeah.
From Chicago.
No,
sorry. That was
From Chicago, yeah.
That was from Chicago. I'll type it in.
You know, he went to Boston.
Boston, yeah.
so he scored for Boston?
The
Probably
AHL
on the
team.
wing, right?
AHL team.
Oh, they're AHL team. Okay. So they haven't called him up yet.
Yes. I remember.
See,
seeing
what
him.
I really wanted to see was if Hedel wasn't injured, to have Hedel and Reichel play together.
So, right now he has. Is that right? 5 points. Son of a b. He has 5 points for Boston, including 2 goals to the Providence Bruins. So there you go. 23 years old, by the way.
Yep.
It's not like he's 28. 23.
So I remember where I heard it now. The interview that Lapierre did with Canucks Conversation, and they were asking him like, what do you see from Martin St. Louis as a coach for a team that's in a rebuild? He's like, as long as the intention of the player is proper, right? As long as he's doing the right things, they don't get in trouble for losing the puck. They don't get benched, right? Whereas with Foot, it seems like Lecker was the perfect example, right? Lecker apparently had some gaff that made Foot bench him in the third period, even though he scored in that game. And
I
that's why
remember that
Foot is
game.
not the right guy to develop this team.
Like I don't understand why he like after scoring he'd be benched for the rest of the period. It was because of one defensive mishap, and then he was benched for pretty much the rest of the game. He played like 2 more shifts after that.
All right, guys, I'm gonna head to sleep now. That's a pretty good run.
We're going down the rabbit hole.
I'll take care of you guys. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for
Peace out,
jumping
dude.
on, Jake.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
night,
thanks
guys.
for
Have a good
coming on,
night.
Doodle. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Cheers.
And down to 3 from
We
5.
should probably actually pack it in. I haven't even done my sponsor read, and we're 3 hours and 12 minutes into it. So you know what? Why don't I just quickly do that now, and I'll quickly look at the NHL odds for tomorrow.
Or
Just the lines.
Should we just do it right at the end? Or are we just calling it now?
Yeah, we're calling it.
I mean, I'm
Okay.
I'm pretty exhausted.
Sorry, it's
3
almost
hours,
2 a.m.
that's
I didn't
crazy.
realize that. That's crazy.
Damn.
I'll go Leafs Wild. Leafs are at a plus 1.5 and a minus 125 on the puck line. Wild are a minus 1.5 and a plus 105 on the puck line. Leafs are a plus 205 on the money line and a minus 250 on the money line. Of course, odds are subject to change. And please play responsibly.
Sorry, you just read the lines? Are you picking any of them?
No, I'm just reading them.
Okay. Since you're gonna pick the Wild and Leafs, going back to the same old, Quinn Hughes for over actually, I'm gonna do assists. Actually, no. Yeah, I'm gonna do assists over half an assist for the game. I have a feeling that Quinn Hughes is gonna score the next game, which is what I'm gonna bet, but I'm not gonna throw this out on there. But it's gonna be over half an assist for sure. I think
All right.
$10 gets you
Well-
16.
All right. Well, big shout out and thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook, which is of course an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Oh. Sorry, something just popped up on my screen.
He's falling down a well.
He's
You know
freezing
that
again.
bill,
Hey
like,
Russ, let
when it
me
pops up, sponsor read.
Of course, right when you start your sponsor read.
you're just lagging. You're
Go
just like cutting
away.
in and out. So while Tyler fixes that, hey
Megabyte
Russ,
me.
how long did it take you? Did it take you to get Trevor Linden? Like how long was it from start to tonight? Like the timeline.
Let me see.
Did you have to schedule him like weeks out and be like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
okay? And he knew he was going to be on after hours.
He did not know when we originally booked. He did not know he was going to be on after hours. So we started the process in February, the beginning of February.
Wow, it took a month and a half.
Wow.
So a good 6 weeks.
Well, I essentially just kind of gave him an idea of like what would work for me, and then he got back to me a little bit after that with what out of that, because my Wednesdays are my day off. I always call it my studio day. So I said like Wednesdays are pretty much like wide open, but the problem is that Wednesday had a Canucks game like every day for like a few weeks in a row, and so then it wasn't as wide open as we needed it to be. But then we finally whittled it down and we ended up doing it on Wednesday this week. Whatever the day.
Just curious, did you just like DM him or like how was
I
that?
ran into him randomly. It was totally
Wow.
random dumb luck.
That's amazing.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? 100% random dumb luck.
So you were just out at somewhere.
I can't go into exact
Linden.
details about how I ran into him, but I can tell you that it was just a random happenstance where we ran into each other, and I ended up being able to interact with him for a little bit, and then he was actually out with his parents, so it was kind of cool to meet his parents too. So
well, as long as it's not,
it wasn't just like
bumping into him at Brandy's. Sorry,
No.
I met him at Brandy's, so
I won't give exact details, but we'll say I ran into him randomly. And then after we interacted for a little bit, I kind of let him know, like, hey, like, just so you know, I'm a big fan and I run a YouTube channel that's Canucks. And then I said, like, if there's any chance, like, you would be interested in joining me for a little bit, that would be like huge for my channel and like would be absolutely amazing. But I totally understand if you're not interested, because obviously, like, I'm a nobody compared to what you do. And at first he was like, I don't really like talking about the Canucks. And I was like, me neither. So let's talk about the good old days. And he's like, okay. And then he gave me his email address, and then that's how it all started.
That's amazing.
Nice.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
That's
That is amazing. That's an amazing story.
I did want to make a
Now
comment
you-
on Brandy's though. Sam told me about Brandy's closing. She's like, hey, Brandy's is closing. Let's go see boobies.
Yo, I'm down if you guys are down.
I've never actually been, and hearing that it's closing.
Dude, the finest gentlemen's club. After 25 years. I mean, it's just like memory lane. It'd be like, yeah, this is where I met Trevor Linden.
And who knows? Maybe we'll run into Trevor.
Somehow I don't think he's down there these days.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me do the sponsor read. Like I said, I was going to do like 5 minutes ago. Sportsbook, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, not Brandy's. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois, 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario, restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which will expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. This is a limited time offer. Copyright 2026 NHL, all rights reserved. This video has been a presentation of both DraftKings Sportsbook as well as the Hockey Podcast Network. Be sure to check out the network for your favorite podcast covering your favorite team at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com, the home of hockey podcasts, where it's every team, everywhere.
Amazing. Russ, do you have to work tomorrow?
No, I have tomorrow.
Okay, that's good.
Looks like I gained some subscribers too, not just Russell. I just looked.
Good.
I was like, oh,
Nice.
Yeah, one away from 1,600. Let's go.
Nice.
One away from 1,600. That's sick.
Yeah. I did want to mention Monday, I'm actually going to be co-hosting a watch party on the network's YouTube channel, game between the Kings and the Rangers, with a Rangers podcaster. So be on the lookout for that. I did tell him I know nothing about the Kings or the Rangers, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research. And who
Why
knows,
isn't it
maybe I'll
against the Canucks? Like, how did that happen?
it was just that game that was on that specific
Okay.
day. So, and I figured it would be a cool experience to actually like be on one of the watch parties for a change. Just so happened to be the Kings and Rangers. And hey, kind of works out because I do have a Kings jersey that I can wear for it. Not that I'm rooting for the Kings, but also it's a Jonathan Quick jersey who plays for the Rangers. So
Perfect.
yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Interesting.
Maybe I'll do that. You know,
Channel
I
name's
just
a
thought
lie.
I'd,
That is perfect.
yeah, thought I'd give it a try. So I figured I'd let everyone know. I'll be co-hosting that with his name is Jimmy. He is actually, his podcast is From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Should be a lot of fun. So go ahead and check out the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel, and it'll be on there.
And if you haven't, please go and subscribe to Nothing is Perfect. We got Russ here for pretty much a whole hour and a half. He's spending his extra time with us tonight. He usually, I don't even know how you did it, because wasn't it like a quadruple header tonight? And you did at least two. Did you do the Golden Eyes game too?
No. I didn't cover any of the other games. I just did the Canucks game tonight. I only cover some of the Golden Eyes games.
But if you haven't checked out his channel, make sure you go over there. He does every Canucks game. He's to a point where he doesn't even have an off day if there's the Canucks playing. Like, the only one time is going to be March 26th when he's going to Dusty's wedding, which I think something is in the works with some of the content creators on YouTube. But aside from that, he hasn't missed a game in the last couple of years or more. So shout out to Russ, because he's been passionate about his Canucks, and he's been game after game after game doing the play-by-play. So give him a sub if you can. And Tyler here, if you're watching, give him, well, you're obviously sub, but I'm part of Headspace Hockey. The other half is Swerve and Irvin. Come on by and check us out. We just did a show on Thursday. We do it every Thursday at 10 p.m. We have our new segment between shifts, or we just call it BS. And we just did our first official one Thursday. I think it was fun. Look out for that, and check out our socials at Headspace Hockey at Instagram, Twitter, Threads. Give us ideas on what you want to hear about Irvin. Hear Irvin and I debate about, and we'll do it every Thursday. So
There you guys go. Headspace
Just
and
curious,
nothing's
do you guys-
perfect. Boom.
just curious, did you guys watch the last show, or part of it, or the debate?
I think I watched parts of it. I watched parts of it.
Yeah, the
So-
BS one.
I still got to
Yeah,
go
if
back
you guys
and
vote-
watch the whole thing from the beginning.
If you guys were to vote, who would you vote for? We only had like 3 minutes, and Irvin only used a minute and a half. But
Yeah. The case for rebuilding or not rebuilding?
yeah, for next year.
I would have voted for rebuild.
For rebuild?
Yeah.
Okay. And Ty?
I'll have to go back and watch. So I'm not sure if I caught that part. So
Okay. I'm going to let Irvin know about this because he got another vote from Russ. So, which is good. Anyways, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for
Check out
coming
the
over,
highlights
Russ.
for the
your time.
para ice hockey tournament is finishing up tomorrow morning. Well, this morning, I guess. Game goes live at 8 a.m. this morning. The para ice hockey tournament between Canada and USA
US?
for the gold medal
Canada,
game
US,
this
yeah.
morning. 6 hours from now, they'll drop the puck, and those games are so much fun. If you haven't checked out the highlights for any of the Canadian games, they have been doing very well in this tournament, as they usually do. And man, watching these guys and what they can do on those sleds it's incredible what they can pull off. So I highly recommend checking out the para ice hockey tournament final tomorrow for the gold medal.
Let's hope Canada gets the gold medal for one of the hockey events this year.
Mm-hmm. And it's a mixed event too, so the teams are allowed to have men and women on the team.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
nice.
Well, check that out. It's in
Yep.
about 6 hours, but I think this is about it for us at almost 3.5 hours. Thank you once again, Russell, for coming over from Nothing's Perfect. I'm Gerald from Headspace, and I'll let Tyler sign off.
Oh, and Gerald just got another one. Or Russ
What?
just got another one. A subscriber on the screen. I just posted.
That's awesome. Love it.
Boys, I highly recommend
like,
adding a counter to your screen too. It's a great idea. It
Definitely
encourages.
will.
Oh,
people to
I'm
sell.
debating. I'm debating adding a watch hour counter for me. Maybe just in the
Yep.
corner.
Anything
there or
you can do to
something.
make people think about what they're watching, right? That's something
Mhm.
one of the early videos I watch is like get a sub count on your screen because people want to help you out if they can see your sub count going up.
For sure.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Okay, Ty.
All right.
Send
Yeah,
us off.
all right. Well, thank you. Thank you to everyone who is, well, still here. It says 67 between X and YouTube. Like, wow. And it's almost 2:00. Jay, good to see you, buddy. Connor, Fangirl. Trying to look back. Doodle, of course. Absolutely loved having Doodle on. That was great. Irvin, Kempner, Adrian, Angelo. Thank you all for stopping by. This was definitely, again, not what I expected. I was going to try for the hour, 30 minutes again. Yeah, that was, yeah, I should just stop. Be like, no, we'll go till whenever. But thanks again, Russ. As always, thank you for stopping by. Love it. Gerald, as always, you know, I'm not even sure if I would have gotten to an hour if you hadn't have popped on. Because I'll admit I was kind of struggling. That's why I was looking at standings. But yeah, thanks guys, really appreciate it. And we'll catch you guys, well, Monday for the watch party if you guys tune in, and Tuesday for the next
Russ is ready.
post game. Oh yeah. Oh.